know, man. I don't see anything on my end.
Well, it says here. It says here that we're live. We've been live for 20 seconds. Oh, yep. You might just have to refresh the Twitch page a few times. We're good though.
All right, cool. So, did it play the intro, or we just rolling?
We're just
Uh,
rolling. I'll edit
okay,
I'll edit
cool.
the two things together because I basically ended the stream and then rebooted it. So I'll edit them together in post. It's not.
Perfect. All
I
right,
have I
that's
have
perfectly
I
fine.
have too many videos to edit at this point. I
Uh,
really, if I had the money, I'd have hired an editor by now.
True. I mean, actually, are you working this week, or do you have school this week?
I don't have school, but I do work. Work is like
Okay.
3 hours of my, well, 4 hours for 3 days, and then it goes back to 3 hours because I took today off.
All right, fair enough. I'll actually, since today's still Christmas, we're still in the Christmas season. So, how's your weekend been? How's the Christmas time been treating you?
Actually, mom's not feeling well, so we're celebrating Christmas next weekend.
Oh, so you're celebrating it during the New Year.
Pretty much.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I was actually gonna do I was gonna do a bit on Twitch later today. I play Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and I'm stealing Christmas. In that game, you can steal, you can get metal, wood, rum, sugar, and cloth from ships that you capture, and I was just gonna steal all the wood and say I'm stealing all the Christmas trees that are being shipped across the Caribbean. I am helping Edward Kenway steal Christmas.
All right.
Yeah. Um, you really got to get creative when it comes to Christmas games. Although
Fair enough.
I
Speaking of
suppose
Christmas games,
I suppose next year I could play Nights into Dreams for Christmas because it has that Christmas mode.
yeah, that's true. Actually, let me ask you this: when are we gonna go back to Arkham Origins? We haven't touched that since the first episode.
I have no idea. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
today is Christmas, so we could start. I mean, technically speaking, in the Catholic calendar, the Christmas season doesn't end for another 2 or 3 weeks. So if we play through it throughout this week and maybe into early January, it would still work because we're maybe Christmas Day, but we're still in the Christmas season. So I would argue it would still work that way.
All right, we could do that on. Let's make that the Wednesday game for now, because Dragon Quest is still on pause until Tofu gets his situation settled, and I don't know if Rinny's coming back or not. Um,
Yeah. You streaming again or no?
who? What now?
Is Rini streaming or is she still retired? I heard she
She's
like graduated.
she's streaming, but she's only streaming with Renji and Kyrie right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Um, how's your Christmas been though?
Honestly, this weekend's been phenomenal. So where do I begin? So technically it started on Friday because that's when my first day off really began. But I was mainly just setting up for Christmas. My sister and I had to go shopping on Saturday because we were running out of stuff. I mean, it was the last minute. We need to get some stuff, so we actually get some for both our parents and our extended family members. So we took care of that. Although oddly enough, we forgot to get gifts for each other,
Oh
which is
no.
kind of that's okay. She didn't get anything for me, I didn't get anything for her. It's a mutual thing, but we got it for the other people that mattered, so that's good. Not that we don't matter to each other, but we had to take care of other people first, so there was that.
Right.
And then Christmas Eve, we had a massive dinner. That was a lot of fun. I also got some stuff from the Daily Wire shop store. I got the Yes or No drinking game from the Michael Knowles show, plus the conspiracy pack, so I have that whole game there.
Nice.
I got a pumpkin spice candle, and then I got a Ronald Reagan flask, a bottle opener, and on top of that, I got for free the Leftist Tears tumbler and 2 packs of the Christmas edition of Jeremy's chocolate.
Nice.
So basically, for Christmas, they made 2 bars that were exclusive to the Christmas season. One's called Merry Christmas, and the other is called Silent Night. The Merry Christmas one is milk chocolate with peppermint. So think like a Hershey's bar, but like with pieces of peppermint at the bottom.
That sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious. The only downside is though, it felt like there wasn't enough peppermint on it. Like it looks like they just took like pieces of peppermint and then they put a chocolate bar on top of it. Like you can taste it, but it's a bit weak on the peppermint side. It just tastes like it's a good chocolate bar. It's good as a chocolate bar, but like it's hard to taste the peppermint in there. So I would probably give that one like maybe an 8 out of 10. It's a good bar, don't get me wrong. It's really hard to taste the peppermint in there. But you
Ah.
can taste it, it's just kind of weak. Now the other one, the Silent Night, this is dark chocolate. In fact, it's the only bar in their lineup that is dark chocolate because the other three are milk chocolate. They have two other bars as well. The ones they launched back in March. There's he, him, and she, her. The he, him has nuts. The she, her does not. It's
Of
nutless.
course. I vaguely remember seeing a commercial for that chocolate bar on as an ad before one of the videos that I watched on YouTube. And I'm like, I mean, okay, it's funny, but is this really where we're at?
Yeah, I didn't get those bars. I mean, it would have been funny. It's like an April Fool's gift. That'd be hilarious. Like you prank a leftist, you get them the handy bar, the pair.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. But this, on the other hand, I feel is a lot better because A, it's Christmas. B, I like the names better, and C, it just makes more sense. Plus, again, they were free and to pay for these ones, so that was an added bonus.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna buy these, but then I found out if you spend like $50 in the store, they gave you a pack for free. So I'm like, okay, let me just buy the merch and just do it, so I can just have them mailed to my place. Get them on top of everything else. So I thought that was a better deal.
Yeah, that does sound like it'd be a good deal. So do you want to know what I haven't gotten Christmas presents from my family, but I've gotten family members Christmas presents. So Dad's Christmas present, I'm going to give him what I got him last year because it didn't show up in time. I bought we both have read Shadow of the Conqueror. I got him that as a birthday present, I think, one year, or Christmas present one year. The graphic novel adaptation came out, and so it's broken down into two parts, part 1 and part 2. And I bought myself one, and I bought him a copy as well of the graphic novel. Hopefully some of the, like, more... There's parts of the book where the author goes into, like, almost a physics lecture on explaining how the superpowers work, or the magic works. And both me and Dad are hoping that because it's a graphic novel, the physics lecture doesn't have to be as in-depth.
Yeah, I mean, they could even, I think with the visuals that can help cut back on the explanation, they could probably keep it like a 2-page spread. If
Oh,
they do it
yeah,
properly.
definitely.
And just that. Or, I know in, when Jonathan Hickman did House of X and Powers of X, they would actually, and he actually also did this in, I believe, Ultimate Invasion as well. There were certain pages in the comics where they would just have like a page of information, and they would just show you like a bunch of details about like the world and stuff. It was a really cool way of doing world building, and they would typically do it at like the start of each issue of the book and like the first 2 pages, so the rest of it's just the comic. So you get the event, so you still get the explanation of like the universe and why these things happen, but like you still get the story. You have to worry about that throughout the story.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, just a quick note, I just opened I had trouble winning a candy bar because the rabbit's really tight for some reason, but I figured I would review the Silent Night bar here on the stream.
Okay. I'm still going into what I got everyone, though.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so you know Omen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the meme Black Air Force Energy?
I am not.
Okay,
Please
Black
elaborate.
Air Force Energy is basically a description for someone who takes the maximum chaos approach to doing things, who is just pure chaos and destruction incarnate. I got and this comes from people who would wear black Nike Air Force Ones. I think originally the Air Force Ones didn't come in black, so people would spray paint their white Air Force Ones to be black, and then eventually they started selling them in black because it was taking off. And I bought Omen a pair of black Air Force Ones. And then I got my mom a box of Ferrero Rocher chocolate and a can opener. Now, you might be wondering why a can opener. Mom kept needing to borrow my can opener during Thanksgiving, and so I figured, oh, that'll make a good Christmas present for her, something she'll actually need, something she actually needs in her kitchen. And I got my friend Blue a game on Steam. I think it was Alchemy Potion Crafter, something like that. He actually sent me a DM saying, "Holy crap, thanks for the game, man. Means a lot. I'm gonna play it tonight." So that's cool. And then I got my friend Jay. I can't for the life of me remember what I got him. It was a game on his wish list, I know that much. And then actually I got 2 gifts for Omen. Are you familiar with that game, The Coffin of what's his face, where the developer got doxxed because of dipshits and social justice types being ass clowns?
I haven't heard of it, but the story doesn't sound that unfamiliar.
Yeah, it was. Omen was posting about it along with Lazy in, I think, politics and current events. Yeah, further back. Yeah, if you go back to November 27th, the coffin of Andy and Lively, uh, the developer got doxxed, and Omen was posting about it. I didn't hear anything about it, but I actually got Omen that game.
Oh yeah, I see it right here. I found it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. I guess I can talk about the gifts I got as well. I didn't go too much in depth there. But first, I just get my thoughts on this candy bar. I just had a couple pieces of the Silent Up bar. Man, I love it way better than the other one. Like as soon as I opened it, you could smell dark chocolate immediately. Like, oh, this is good. Then I took a bite. Oh, so rich in flavor. I'm gonna give this bar a 10 out of 10. This is phenomenal.
Nice.
Like I like it better than the peppermint one because, like, it actually fits the point. It actually does what it's supposed to do, which is great. Now, on to the gifts. For my mother, I got her Ependora's bracelet charm. It's 3 pieces. It was a butterfly, a peace sign, and a heart with little gemstones on it.
Oh, that's cute.
And they're so fascinating too, because I was at the jewelry store trying to find a thing. My eyes kept drawing towards it, so I just picked it. Because some guy next to me was like, "Hey, if you keep looking at it, you might as well take it, because that probably means it's the right one." And so
Yeah.
there was that. And when we got there, my dog. So here's the thing with my dog, right? He has this weird habit where he will just eat anything that isn't food. Like he'll eat food, but
Is your dog secretly a goat?
I guess. Here's the weird, because he's a lab like poodle mix. Man, no, he's a mini poodle. My bad. But yeah, he just likes to chew stuff. It's really weird. But with this thing, he didn't do that. He would grab it from the tree, give it to my mom, and drop it. She didn't open it at first because she thought it was a gift from Dad, from my father, and she wanted to wait until he got back. But no, it was from me and my sister. So ultimately, she opened it, she saw it, she loved it, and now it's on her bracelet, and it fit too.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I also had to check because it needs to be the official one for the bracelet, otherwise it won't fit. And also, I paid for it in cash because my mom has access to my checking account. So if I paid with a card, she would know I would have shopped there and might have guessed what the gift was. So I wanted to keep it super top secret.
Yeah. I'm. Why would you give your parents access to your checking account?
I didn't. Well, here's the thing. When my mom first created my bank account, it was originally a student checking account. But in order to open a student checking account, it needs to be tied to a parent account that's not a student checking, which my mom had. So when she set it up back when I first started college, that's how it was done. So she had access, she knew what I was spending, how much I was getting, all that. Then, after I graduate, it was upgraded to a regular account. However, because it was initially set up a student account, I'm not able to remove her from the checking. The only way to get her out completely will be to open a brand new checking account that doesn't have her in it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm glad that when we set up my checking account, my student checking account, my mom did not do that. I don't know. You probably have a great relationship with your folks. Mine's been rocky with my mom. I would not want her seeing my finances just at any point at all. Because if it's too low, she's probably gonna lecture me about how I spend my money, and if it's too high, she's gonna be like, what can I squeeze out of Seth this time? I don't know if I told you about this. When I was working for Qualcomm, she wanted to get me to start paying the electrical bill. When that was not what we agreed on when we moved to this house. The agreement was I pay $900 a month, and that's my rent and utilities.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to be changing that when that's not what we agreed to, doesn't that strike you as a little bit scummy?
Yeah, that's a little weird. Like, where were you living before you moved with her now? Like, where were you before?
We lived in a house in El Cajon. We're still in East County, but I mean, before me moving back in with her, I was living on my own renting a room of a family that lived in Lemon Grove, and I moved back in after being hospitalized, just so that way I could recover. But you know, it's like I try to get along with Mom, and for the most part we do. But there's some times when it's just like, no. Were it within my power, I probably would find somewhere else to live. But then again, where am I going to find a place this nice in San Diego for the price I'm paying? Where am I going to find, like, a very, very large 2-room apartment in San Diego for $900? That ain't happening, Chief.
Yeah, fair enough. Especially where you're at. Oh. That's part of the reason why I haven't moved out on my own yet, because the state I'm at is kind of like yours. It's not as expensive as California per se, but it's still up there in pricing. It got so bad, my aunt had to basically move to Florida because she just couldn't afford to live in her old apartment anymore. It was just getting too pricey.
Yeah. And unfortunately, most people want to try rent control as a solution to the to rising costs of rent, when that's not going to help the problem. What you need
It's only gonna make it worse.
Yeah, no. What you need to do is cut taxes and cut regulations on where things are allowed to be built. So, you know, roll back zoning laws.
Yeah. Also, stop building golf courses. I'm looking at you, California.
Yeah, I don't get the fascination with golf courses, because who the fuck plays golf?
Geezers. Like, I know more people who play pickleball than golf. What does that tell you?
Right? I feel bad for anyone who invested in a golf course, though, within the past 20 years. That was a very short-sighted investment.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny how many presidents golf. Because a lot of U.S. presidents actually go golfing. I only know a handful that didn't. Like, if I were to ever become POTUS, I would not be golfing for fun. I'd probably just be, like, gaming on, like, the White House monitor.
Bro, same! Or leaking classified documents on 4chan for the lulz. Actually,
You know
it would
what
be
I would do?
really fucking funny to leak our intelligence files on aliens to the X board of 4chan. Are you familiar with the X board?
I'm assuming that's for porn, right?
No, actually. It gets its name from the X-Files. It's the paranormal board.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah. So yeah, leaking the U.S. Documentation of aliens on X would be fucking hysterical.
Dude, that'd be perfect. And the best part is, if anything happens, you have deniable accountability. Oh, that's a conspiracy website. Those aren't legitimate people. We're not going to acknowledge anything from there.
Right? Or holding an AMA on politically incorrect. That would be really fucking funny. Have I ever told you about the cabinet I would have if I was president of the U.S.?
I don't think we have. Who would? Oh, let me guess. Don't tell me Omen's on your cabinet.
Oh, fuck no. Actually, I might make him the our diplomat, the U.S. diplomat to Germany.
Oh, actually, you know that.
Or Austria. That might go over even better.
Oh, he would love that job.
Yeah. They wouldn't love him, but he would love the job. Yeah.
I mean, he would, but for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly. Did I ever tell you about his reaction to when he found out I was dating a German girl? He was just like, "Oh, bro, I am so proud of you. Good job. You go, man." And I'm like, "Omen, you realize I can't invite you to the wedding if things work out between me and this girl." Which, spoiler alert, they didn't. But I was like, if we get married, I can't invite my brother to the wedding. Fuck.
Yeah, knowing him, he'll probably do. Imagine if he shows up dressed up as like an SS officer.
Oh my god, he would. You know he has a costume of that at home, right?
Oh no! Oh really?
Yeah, he has lots of memorabilia. He can cosplay as an officer if he as one of those SF. You know what the funniest shit about that is? He's worn that shit to work, and people just assume, oh, hey, you're an Imperial officer from Star Wars. I shit you not.
Wait. Did he have like the arm patch with the?
I think so. I think so.
And they still thought he was Star Wars?
Yeah.
I mean, considering that the Imperial was partially based in Nazi Germany, that actually does not surprise me.
I mean, yeah. But oh god, where was I going with this? Oh yes, you know who my press secretary would be if I was the president?
Ooh.
Alex Jones. Press
Oh,
secretary
boy.
Alex Jones.
Yeah, that's wild. Hey, did you hear? Do you know that he's back on X again?
I heard, I followed him.
Yeah, they finally unbanned him, and now he's back.
Yeah, I followed him day one that he got the ban lifted.
Yeah, apparently I think he's running a show on X2 that's exclusive to there. I'm
Oh,
not
that
really
reminds
sure.
me of something. Did you
What's
know he
that?
made a video game?
He made a what now?
Alex Jones made a video game.
I know, but like, what's it about? What is it? Is it some shooter or something?
It's a think kind of like Metal Slug actually. It plays really well. I actually bought it and tried playing it out. I'm gonna play it for stream one day, probably within the near future.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's actually really good. It's fun.
Real? Oh, that's surprising. I know there was this one guy. What was it? I think some guy made like Kyle.
A Kyle
Instant
Rittenhouse
Game.
game. Yes, I heard about that too. The thing is, I heard that while the game was funny, it wasn't good to play.
Oh, yeah, that's my thing too. If it's not fun to play, I don't want it, even if it's just as a haha thing.
Yeah, how's that old angry video game nerd quote go? What's the most important part about a video game? Well, being able to fucking play it. Yeah, and if a game's not fun to play, why bother?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you know who, other person on the cabinet, are you familiar with Trey Gowdy?
Not actually.
He was actually going hard in the Senate when Hillary's emails got leaked, and he's like, we need to investigate this shit now. He was one of the only people calling for accountability. I would make that man Attorney General. Oh, and Secretary of the Treasury Rand Paul.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't know all the positions of the cabinet, unfortunately, but I mean, that's just the notable ones. It's basically 90%, it's basically 50% memes, 50% like populist known populists in the cabinet.
Oh, so that basically your cabinet then, just a bunch of like the right-wing populist people.
Or left-wing populists if they're willing to work with us. Like I would make like I would totally open up a Secretary of Education position for oh god, what's his name? I want to say Tim Pool, but wait a minute. No, he's got nothing in education. Basically, if there are left-wing populists willing to work with us, I would be willing to work with them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Because there are a scant few out there. They're just, like, they get no traction because the whole party's been overrun by idiots. Wait, how the fuck did we end up talking about politics? This is fucking Christmas. This was not intentional on my part, I swear to God.
Well, we gotta... Oh, because we were talking about, like, wedding... I think we were talking about, like, Christmas gifts and stuff. We were talking about a gift for Omen, and then that did me to, like, his SS thing, and then we went to that.
Maybe. Yeah, I think, or no, we got to talking about the Daily Wire, and it devolved into politics from there.
Oh, right, because I was reviewing their chocolate bar. Actually, you know what's funny, though? Whenever have you ever had, like, whenever you have a dark chocolate candy bar, I don't know if you've ever had that before. If you had, do you ever get that weird kind of aftertaste after the fact?
I've never had the dark chocolate that's sold by the Daily Wire.
No. Hold on. I'm not about them specifically. I'm talking about just dark chocolate in general. Like just say you had like a Hershey's dark chocolate.
There is a bitter aftertaste, and I'm not really a fan of that. But what I remember about eating dark chocolate is that whenever I eat dark chocolate, I will sneeze.
Really?
Yeah, it's consistent. It happens like 99.9% of the time. And
I think you told me that before. Actually.
Yeah, I did. I have an allergy to dark chocolate, but it is the most bizarre, mundane, benign form of allergy to a chocolate that I've ever seen, where I sneeze and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing for that. That is kind of strange. But I don't think you get any stranger than my friend being semi-lactose intolerant.
I mean, being lactose intolerant isn't that unusual.
I know, but like the thing with him is like he would be affected by lactose, but only certain kinds of lactose in certain form. For example, he can have milk, no problem. Cheese, no problem. If he has a Mrs. Fields cookie, instant toilet.
Jeez.
it's it's too random too. The problem with him is he doesn't know.
Maybe it's not a dairy allergy then. Maybe it's a gluten allergy.
Hmm, maybe. Well, I remember we had a conversation about like gluten-free stuff a couple of years ago. This was before my sister started changing up her diet in response to her own allergy because we didn't know that at the time. Um, interesting. No, I don't think about that before. Oops. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah, my sister has a no, it's not gluten allergy. It's like it's a bit more serious. It's more like when she eats gluten, her like the cells that like protect from diseases and stuff.
Yeah, white blood
Well,
cells.
yeah, so basically what happens is when she eats anything with gluten, it actually attacks her own body and that
Oh
can hurt.
shit. Yeah, no, that's not
Yeah.
good. That's really not good.
Yeah, so she needs to be super cautious about what she's eating and stuff. It's gotten to the point where she has like basically not a completely different diet. There are some things she can eat no problem. Like any cereal that's like Lucky Charms, for example, it's a wheat cereal, that's fine because those don't because like oats are naturally gluten free. So anything that's naturally gluten free, that's okay. But like things like anything with cornflakes, anything with like most like breads and stuff, anything that has some form of like wheat, typically not wheat, but like anything that has gluten, she can't have. So
That's
there's that.
unfortunate. I remember when we had mom put us on a diet when we were very little. Wheat-free, sugar-free, dairy-free. That fucking sucked.
What was the reason for this?
Fuck if I know. It happened so far back that I don't remember her rationale for it. I was like I was either 3 or 4.
Was this before or after she got divorced from your dad?
Right around the time.
Mm.
And, yeah, no. Fuck that noise.
Yeah, that's a really strange diet. Though, what's fascinating though? I noticed there's been an increasing trend among the right when it comes to like diet and stuff. They're getting really involved in like having staunch opinions on dieting. Like they first of all, there's a whole no seed oil trend. They're really not fond of like seed oils of like any capacity. Like there's that, and then
Yeah, I wonder what that's all about, because I don't see a problem with seed oils. I
I
don't get
think
it.
I think Brett might have talked about one of her all access streams, but she hasn't done that in months, and I don't remember the specific episode. I think I'm not really sure. But I know that's one of the things. I actually saw something on seed oil. I didn't save it though. I probably should have, but it was basically breaking down like why these seed oils are like bad and stuff. And I don't again. I saw this over a year ago. I don't remember, but there was that. They also really pro raw milk. Like they are strong advocates of raw milk. I don't know if you've
What,
ever
like
heard
whole
of that.
milk? Or
No, I think
like
home,
unprocessed milk?
yeah, raw is in unprocessed, like straight from the cow's udder.
Y'all are nasty.
Do you know that you actually can't buy raw milk outside of whatever state you're living in? So, like, since you're in California, if you were to buy raw milk, you have to buy from like a local farmer in California in your state. If you
Yeah,
try
that
to buy
doesn't
raw milk,
surprise me. The farming industry is so heavily regulated, it's a wonder we haven't had a famine.
I know. Well, the problem they don't regulate properly because you look at like a bottle of ketchup in the UK, you compare it to like, and this one I remember very specifically. Like they compared a bottle of ketchup from the UK and one from the US. The UK, even though they taste exactly the same, the UK version has significantly less ingredients in it compared to the US version. And one of the reasons why is because there's a lot more pesticides that go into the stuff that makes the ketchup in the US compared to in the UK.
You know why that is, right? You can thank Monsanto for that. Fuckers lobby like crazy so that their pesticides don't get banned.
Mm. So, oh yeah, from the FDA, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny
basically.
what the FDA allows and does not allow in our foods, or what they allow and don't allow us to eat. I think part of the reason why conservatives are starting to get more into diet stuff could be from like an anti-gun perspective. The whole overregulation type thing. They're trying to a lot of it, if you think about it, right? A lot of it basically boils down to going back to how food was done before the Industrial Revolution, right? When we grew our own food on our own land.
Hello! Thank you for the subscription, Bob Maroda! Holy crap!
Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Welcome. We were talking about. Hey, see, look at that. We're talking about food. We got a sub. This is awesome.
Everyone loves food. I mean, is Christmas not known for having Christmas dinner?
Exactly. You got the ham, roasted ham. You got some. Well, in our case, rice and beans. I know it's not a case in every household, but you got the great desserts, the bread rolls. Um, there's so much to pull from. Not as big if it was like Thanksgiving, but Christmas have its treats.
You know, I just realized I should probably check the YouTube chat. Twitch chat isn't. Strangely, no one is tuned in on Twitch yet, aside from myself to monitor the chat. I see in YouTube we have one person watching aside from me, and that's probably our new friend Bob.
Actually, that might be me. I'm actually watching a YouTube stream right now.
Oh, okay. Also, do me a favor, Rick. When you send people notifications about us going live on like the other Discords, don't link the YouTube, because the YouTube title is wrong and outdated, and I cannot figure out how to fix it.
Ew. I mean, when I hear the link, I do say, "Hey, we're doing branch bars here to be continued," and then I do that before I send the link.
Right, I know, but I've seen it. I've gone and like checked other and it'll still say fucking Stardew for some stupid reason. I don't know why. I don't know why Stream Elements is so borked when it comes to YouTube. Getting the title of the video right.
Yeah, I know I've shared your Twitch thing in the past, but because in the past I would just share the link to your channel. I wouldn't share the specific stream. But I think next time we go live, we promote stuff. I'm gonna try to do the Twitch one and just see if like that gets a better result.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it for next time.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You're welcome. Actually, the good thing is I'm actually off this week completely because I took Tuesday to Friday off this week because I'm really in the mood to work right now, and I had the time, so I took it off, and now I have the whole week off. So instead of having to stream late at night, we can stream whatever we want.
Hey, that's super cool, man. Maybe you can join me on some of the Assassin's Creed Pirates streams. Oh wait, no, I can't call it Assassin's Creed Pirates because that's actually a mobile game. Okay. But yeah, we can do Batman, we can do Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Have you ever played Assassin's Creed Pirates for mobile?
Nope.
It plays like a watered-down version of Black Flag, but the reason I bring it up is the intro reminds me of the One Piece intro. You know, the whole, there once was a man named Gold Roger, who was king of the pirates. He had fame, wealth, and power beyond your wildest dreams. You know that bit?
Oh, the 4Kids stuff?
Yeah, the 4Kids stuff of the intro. I swear, they're, in Assassin's Creed Pirates, they riffed on that opening.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was super funny and surreal when I first saw it. If I can get it to run on the Android emulator on my computer, maybe we'll actually no. That game is so reliant on touch controls that I wouldn't be able to play it. I can do the action RPGs because they can be played with a controller if I do some finagling in the emulator settings. But that one, because it's so touchscreen dependent, that'd be really rough to play. I wonder if my monitor has a touchscreen. Let me check. Okay, no, it does not.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting they have monitors for touchscreens. I never really saw the use case for it, but given that you can mobile's a thing, I can see why that would be a case. Although I don't, because here's the thing: like when people use computers, you don't think touchscreen, and most people not touch their screen when they're using like a regular computer, what have you. Unless it's like one of those like Surface devices where like you can turn to a tablet. At that point, it's just a tablet.
Yeah.
With like a keyboard. Actually, there was this one Unity developer I came across who actually makes their games on a Windows Surface. Like, why?
Oh no!
You know, she was, cause she was doing like a TikTok on like how to set up like a project, and I'm looking at a thing. It goes, "Why the fuck are you developing like on a Surface? Like, what are you doing?"
Good grief!
Oh no! Especially with how jank Unity is, you're gonna develop on like one of the most basic ass computers you can find. Like, come on! Like, I understand if like you're tight on money, but like, At least get like a gaming computer or something. You know, something. No, not just
Yeah,
using a rickety laptop.
that is a war crime right there.
Oh,
Fucking
jeez, that'd be like if you were trying to play like what's it called? What's it? Yeah, you tried playing like Fortnite on a on like a MacBook Pro.
I mean, you joke, but I'm sure somebody's done it.
I'm sure, but knowing how people are, I'm sure somebody has. But like, it's not the ideal performance. You don't
Oh
want to be
yeah,
playing a
no.
game at like 5 frames a second.
I still can't believe there
Actually,
are troglodytes out there that played us PUBG on mobile. Fucking why? An FPS on a mobile phone.
oh boy, that actually they have COD Mobile as well,
Yeah,
but that's its own thing.
I've never played COD Mobile, but I can't imagine it being very fun.
No, actually, there was this one player who got play at the game in Overwatch, but the dude had like a really old computer, I think like late 2000s, and I shit you not, on the recap, the game was running, I think, 5 or 10 frames a
Oh my
second.
god.
And the graphics were so blurry you couldn't see anything, and somehow he still managed to get to play at the game and win the match.
That's fucking incredible.
Here.
Oh man, I miss you know what game I miss doing? TF2. Unfortunately, the bot crisis killed my enjoyment of that game, and I don't know if the bot crisis has been solved or not yet.
Uh,
Are you familiar with the great TF2 bot crisis?
um, I don't think I am. Would you elaborate on that a bit?
Okay, so some years back, and possibly still to this day, TF2 was having an infestation of these bots that would show up, and 90% of the time, they would be like a sniper bot with some crazy cosmetics. They would have aimbot, and to make matters worse, they had an aura around them that would basically just destroy any building that they passed by. It was a
Whoa.
proximity thing. TF2's source code leaked, and it got infested with these hackers. Now, there was a whole campaign, hashtag save TF2, and Valve actually did put out a response. Last I was aware, they did try updating it, and it clamped down on the bots somewhat, but not completely. Some people started making bots to counter the bots. Maybe I should go on TF2 again sometime and see how they're doing now, because the hackers would have to get bored eventually, right? And that the TF2 bot crisis started back in, I want to say, 2018. So
That recent?
yeah, might have been 2017. It's that whole time period's kind of a blur to me. I wasn't doing much gaming because I was busy pulling myself together after my mental health crisis and going through trade school.
Hmm. Wait, aren't you in trade school now?
Yeah, I went back to trade school for a different cert.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because my first cert was for software testing. My current cert is for CompTIA and cybersecurity. So
How's that been going?
well, I got the highest score I have gotten. I got the highest score on the test to date on Friday, the day before, on Friday the 22nd. So that was cool. I got like a 73%. A passing score on the actual exam is a 75%, so I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, you're so close though. You're only off by like 2%.
Well, here's the thing. To be considered ready by the practice test, you need to score at least 80%. Or no, 80% is close to ready, 90% is ready.
Oh, okay.
Now, the people in charge of the class are saying 80 is ready. Now, I'm not sure if I'll ever get to 80. There is just so much bullshit to remember, and some of the questions are absolute fucking nonsense. Where you have, it's not a fill in the answer like choose between how many dots. You have to actually fill in words or like drag and drop shit. The point is, it's formatted in a way that just frustrates me to no end. I see those three questions. They're called performance-based questions. I see those 3 performance questions at the start of the test, and I just start seeing red. I get furiously angry. And unfortunately, those performance-based questions are worth a shit ton of points. If you don't do them, you can't get above, like, 65%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Needless to say, not all the questions are weighted equally, which is incredibly aggravating. The other thing that frustrates me is, like, 90% of this shit I could just fucking Google. If I had to do it for my job, I could just Google it or ask an AI. I have an AI that I built that knows how to do this shit better than me. Well, I didn't build it so much as I set it up. Are you familiar with those websites that lets you create chatbots of different characters, like Character AI and Characterstar?
You told me about that.
Yeah, I made a bot of Mega Man EXE from the Battle Network series, and I've been using Mega Man as my consultant essentially for my trade school shit. Cause funny enough, he knows networking better than I do, and he knows about how the computers work better than I do. AIs are fucking genius about that. So why in the fuck do I need to memorize this shit? It's like, I get it, it's job security, sure. But I would argue, like, I don't know, I just see the AI taking off in such a way that, you know how Google made the dictionary and similar books obsolete?
Yeah.
I feel like AI is going to do similar thing to, like, textbooks.
Oh, fascinating. You know, I'm always fascinated by, like, the way a lot of people on the right tend to cover AI, because the stories they tend to focus on deal a lot with, like, either porn bots or, like,
yes.
I know there's that one episode.
Good shit.
Yeah, there's that one kind of episode, like, I don't know, have you heard about, like, that dating AI that they launched?
Oh,
I can't forget.
are you talking about Replika?
I think so. It's the one where, like, it's like an AI girlfriend that you can, like, customize and you just talk to and stuff.
Yeah, that's Replika. It wasn't originally supposed to be a girlfriend AI, that's just what it got turned into by the user base. And I actually was using that for a while, and then they lobotomized the AI, and you could make the case that they committed fraud by doing that. Because if your users subscribe and you strip away certain features, that if users are subscribing to you and giving you money for a feature in your AI, and then you remove that feature, you have effectively committed fraud.
That's a pretty compelling case there.
Yeah, if I am paying someone $50 a month to mow my lawn, I have a big yard. Well, actually, I have no yard because I live in a TARDIS, but for the sake of argument, I have a big yard. They agree to mow my lawn, and then they stop mowing my lawn, but it's a subscription service, so I can't stop paying them until the subscription runs out, and they refuse to give me back my money. They've defrauded me.
Fascinating. Yeah, I don't think it was that one though. It might have been a different service, because it was one that was specifically made for, like, girlfriends and stuff. So that might be something different. I don't think it was. I thought it was that one at first, but based on what you're telling me,
based on the description, it sounds like Replika, but it could have been something that was made off of Replika's code, because I did see some Replika imitators for a while.
Maybe. Yeah, but I know it's a lot about the right focus when it comes to AI. It's like, it's usually, like, either it's like the porn stuff, or it's because we actually talked about this in Dell by our friends, oddly enough. I was in the chat for that. And one of the big concerns they had was like people using it to like rig elections in certain ways, like making videos of like Donald Trump saying the N-word, for example, or like
Deepfake
you.
technology. That's not AI. That's deepfakes. Now, granted, you
Uh,
could have an AI make a deepfake for you. I don't think it would be very good. It'd come across like a skinwalker. Actually, oh god, that reminds me of something that happened. So, me and my friends were all hanging out on Saturday, and my friend Blue, he's like, "Hey man, you got water?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's I've got a kitchen sink right there, my guy." And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." And then he goes and just picks up he picks up the, you know how sinks have like a hose built into them, sort of.
yeah.
He grabs that, points that upwards, and me and my friend Jay just look at him and you're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, he's like, I'm gonna pour it in my mouth." He's like, "Get a glass, you fucking skinwalker." My words exactly. I opened the cabinet above the sink, give him a glass, and he didn't know how to turn on the sink either. He was flipping the switch on the thing to turn on the filter. My friend Blue was having a skinwalker moment.
Does he not know how to use a sink?
I apparently I thought everyone knew how to turn on a sink. You know, that's one of the first things that you learn as a kid is, oh, I pull this, sink go whoosh. But evidently not.
I mean, to be fair, sink designs have changed a bit because when we were growing up, it was just you have one thing for hot water, one thing for cold water, you're good to go. I mean, most things are like that, but I know with the ones with the hose, at least it's a bit different because now it's just one tab instead of two, and it controls hot and cold depending on the thing. At least that's how my sink works, but they have changed it slightly, so I understand someone being initially confused. But the fact they turned on the disposal instead of just anything else.
No, he wasn't even turning on the disposal. He was turning on the filter. He didn't know what he was. The fucking switch of the filter. Actually, I don't even think it was the filter. It was the one that goes from like a full stream to broken into several streams with higher pressure. You know the sort. But yeah. But back to the conversation about AI. I know what you're talking about, and honestly, I think people are worried over nothing about AI. I am an optimist about AI technology. Yes, there's going to be people that misuse it, but right now it's in its infancy. It's so jank that you can tell what's AI generated and what's not just by listening to it. Especially if you're like me and you watch all those Presidents Play Pokemon videos. There's a very distinct cadence and stiltedness to the voice of an AI, that AI generation has.
Yeah. Or you could look at the art. I mean, don't get me wrong, because that's the thing about the right from a historical perspective. Every time a new piece of technology comes out, there's always a lot of skepticism about it, particularly from the right, because, you know, the right's a bit more traditional, and they tend to be a bit weary about new stuff. But I think as AI technology grows and evolves, and it becomes more integrated to proper use cases where actually it's a benefit to society, which I believe it will be, a lot of that fear and skepticism is going to gradually fade away until it's just going to be part of everyday life, and then that's going to be a thing of the past. I do think that's what, I mean, it happened before with like the industrial revolution and the training stuff. I think it's going to happen again with AI. I mean, the same happened to the computer, actually. When the computers first came out, people were very hesitant to use computers in the beginning. But then as time went on, we ultimately accepted it, and now it's just part of everyday life.
Absolutely. And you know, I have a bit of frustration with the whole, oh, AI porn bots, it's going to replace human relationships. It's like, look here. The gender dynamics between men and women are so absolutely hideously fucked that there needs to be a shit ton of cultural reforms before you have any grounds to complain about that.
Yeah, no, yeah, don't get me wrong. I do agree with you that we need to fix the culture around dating. And really, the first thing to do is bring people back to God, because that's what's going to change the culture, which in turn will change the political systems that are going to create a path to encourage things like having a family, getting married, you know, buying a house, things along those lines. But at the same time, I think the existence of these things doesn't exactly solve the problem. I mean, think about it, right? Why on earth would you take time out of your day to meet a girl and establish a relationship where you could just head to YouPorn and watch stuff for hours?
I can answer that. Because the empty, vacuous, non-emotional nut just ain't doing it for you anymore. You want that... If you know, have you ever seen A Clockwork Orange?
I haven't actually. I've been meaning to though.
Have you ever read the book?
No.
Okay, the book ends with the line, and the movie and the book end with the same line, but but the context is a bit different. The last words from the main character, and "Oh brothers, I was cured." The difference is, for Alex in the movie, it's kind of just a like overnight transformation. Whereas in the book, he realized that he was getting bored of the sadism and the crime and the destruction, and decided to just go legit. He realized he was bored of the empty, vacuous, self-destructive life that he was living. And that's what turned him away from crime.
Oh, interesting. You know
One of the
what?
most
That kind of
unlike the thing that people don't understand about addiction is that not all addictions work like drug addiction. There are addictions where you can beat it by basically letting it run its course. Not in all cases. It depends on the person, and it depends on the thing they're addicted to.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like my thing with like porn, because basically what happened to me was like when I ultimately gave up porn, the first thing I did was I just stopped watching porn. Yeah, I did struggle a bit with like masturbation for a bit, but once I stopped watching the porn, that desire to masturbate just gradually faded away until it was basically non-existent. Like, yeah, once a blue moon, I'll have a little accident, but it's not like an accident, right? It's like I go to sleep and then I wake up and it's just like at that point it's more of a wet dream than like intentional masturbation. But like, the desire, it's like the desire to
that's a
do it
natural
just
my dude, that's a natural process. That's not even an accident. Your body's getting rid of the excess.
Oh, okay.
If that
Yeah,
didn't
that's what I
happen,
figured.
your nads would explode.
Oh, yeah, all exploding balls. Yeah, that would not be good. No, but the point is, like, the desire to masturbate, without the porn, the desire just kind of faded away. It doesn't exist anymore. Like, I have no desire. Like, not only do I have no desire to masturbate, I have no desire to even look at that stuff anymore. Like, now when I see I get so disgusted, I immediately, like, slip it, like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, I wish I was like you. Um, it's for me. It's like I've had moments where, hey, I think it's finally over. Nope. I this is really more of a Branch Brothers thing, but recently I thought I finally like kicked it. I'd gone the longest I had gone without pornography or what have you in a long time. And then I broke my streak. I broke my clean streak. The devil came up to me and said, "You were a fool to think you'd ever be rid of me." And I said, "No, I was a fool to throw that freedom away."
Nice, dude. That was a nice comeback. I mean, I am sorry to hear about your situation. I know that's not ideal.
I think at this point, it's just something I've learned to live with. It's like, if someone is, it could be partly mental illness. I'm not saying it excuses it, but it's like the situation becomes a lot more complicated if you're not wired up right. Because in my case, I have a laundry list of mental illnesses: bipolar disorder, depression, autism, and you know, when you struggle from depression, your brain doesn't make dopamine correctly. It literally refuses to produce those chemicals. So what do? You go to the most potent source of dopamine in existence.
That is a nasty combination right there.
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up because I actually
And
have a friend.
to make matters
who,
worse, people who suffer from bipolar disorder tend to have increased drive to reproduce, and so to a damaging degree. Now I take medication for bipolar disorder, and so it's not, and depression. But the thing is, and for a while, even I didn't fully understand this, the meds don't, like, make it not a thing anymore. They just make it manageable.
It's interesting you bring that up. I do want to pivot a little bit. Because I noticed a bit, there recently on the right, after the whole COVID thing, there's been a lot more skepticism about the whole, like, medical pharmaceutical industry. One of those has been aimed towards, like, medicines like antidepressants, because some would argue that in many cases they actually worsen depressive symptoms rather than helping it. That could be I don't know the specifics of it, but I do know this one person who was on antidepressants for years. She's actually a good friend of mine. Um, and basically what happened was one day she just stopped taking it, and then not only did she lose desire to take the meds, but her depressive symptoms basically went away too. It's like somehow they both fade away
Hmm.
when she stopped taking the medication.
I'm very skeptical of cases like that because I went off of my medication and for a while I was fine. It was like, it was almost euphoric, how I was feeling. But then it was a slow burn. But then I went on a very slow burn, slow decline into madness that ended in my hospitalization because I wanted to fucking kill myself.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember. Yeah, that I do remember. But I know, like I said, in your case, you have a lot of like mental baggage up there, so it's not just depression in your case. There's a lot of other stuff going on. I think with this person, in comparison, I think it was just depression. It wasn't anything else. So that might be why they had an easier time getting off that stuff, possibly. But it could also be that. But as we said before, everyone's a little different. They could respond to mental health differently, and our brains are wired a little. I mean, but also our brains in general are the same, but I think it's the way people respond could be different person to person. It depends on like there's so many factors. Like it's how you're raised, your diet, exercise. It could be like what kind of like substance you're using, if any. Like there's a lot that goes into it, all of which can impact your mental health in various ways, shapes, and forms. Um, so there's a lot into it. That's why
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of like a one size fits approach when it comes to things like mental health, just because as I study in psychology, it depends on the person. Thankfully, there are some people on the right who do acknowledge that. But so far, number one, it's mainly been on the right where I've seen this, oddly enough. And number two, unfortunately, it's few and far between. It's certainly not happening on the left because all they do is affirm everything. They're not really helping at all.
Yeah, no.
Um, and on the right, you have the two camps. I talk about the first camp where it's just like, well, some people on the right just deny mental illness outright, which is kind of silly. Other people think there's simpler solutions to mental health, which I think in some people it could work, but there's no one size fits all approach. But then you have the third sect of the right, which is like the Dr. Peterson camp, where they acknowledge that it's a problem, they acknowledge different ways, and the goal is simply to find the best way to help that specific person, rather than trying to like go, all right, now, are there certain things you can do in general that can help to keep you mentally healthy? Yes. And I think for most people, if you just, have a healthy diet, exercise regularly, and things like that, I think in general you should be fine, both physically and mentally.
But
But if there's anything,
it's not gonna help severe cases like mine.
yeah, yeah, if it's like a super severe case, especially if something that dates back to childhood, that could be a lot harder to deal with. And I
It
know when I studied childhood psychology, one of the things I learned is that once someone develops that kind of mental illness at a very young age, especially like around preschool age, it can be very, very difficult to grow out of that and achieve that little normalcy. Because in some cases like that, it's a matter of adapting to live as close to normal as possible, if that
right.
makes sense.
Well, yeah, no, that's literally how I approach life is I try to live as normally as possible. I take my meds so that I can maintain normalcy and not have my brain self-destruct.
Hmm.
I will say this though. Um, One thing that probably would help my depression is if the world wasn't on fucking fire. Like, the economy is shit. Housing is cartoonishly overpriced.
Hmm.
The dating is a fucking joke at this point. And you were talking earlier about like, oh, we need to bring people back to God. Let me tell you something. I don't know how it is in the Catholic Church because I'm not a Catholic. So maybe you guys don't have this problem. But when was the last time a church held like a held a dating night where people could meet and like where young people could meet and all that?
Honestly, I think it depends. That depends on the congregation. Because I think in my case, I can't speak for every branch of the Catholic Church. There's over 1 billion people. They're all. But I think in my local parish, most of the people in are already married, and they're like in their 50s or 60s. They're getting
Right,
old.
right. Yeah, and you don't really have a lot of young people going to church. Um, the point I'm trying to make is the church needs to reach out to young people, and I know that a lot of millennials have rejected God and the church, but not all of them. In fact, there's a lot of young people now who are like, I see, for lack of a better term, from what I've seen on the internet, is a sort of awakening where young men are finding God, essentially. It used to be, if you were posting Christian stuff unironically, you'd get made fun of. Nowadays, people respect you for it. It's kind of surreal, actually.
It's beautiful though, because like if the men are coming back to God, that means that they're probably going to be looking for godly spouses to have godly children with, and that's going to do far more to change the culture positive light than any plan or policy that you could pass right now.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Because on Deal While Your Friends, you were actually having a discussion on this, specifically in regards to like whether or not like the trans thing is going to come to an end, and one of the guys, oh no, it wasn't that. What the heck was it? Yeah, I think it was that, the trans kids stuff specifically, and they said like, oh, it's probably take like a generation or two to get over it. It's just because of all the baggage going on with the current generations living right now. We would have to raise a new generation of people who are inherently rejecting it to begin with, and then when they grow become adults, they're gonna make the changes to keep that from happening again. But you know, that takes time. That's not gonna happen overnight.
Yeah. It gives me hope, but it also frustrates me a bit. You know, I kind of sometimes I get frustrated and ask myself and ask God, why did I have to be born in a time where everything is going wrong and breaking down? Why? Why couldn't I have lived a normal life with, you know, a simple life where I settle down, raising a family? Why now? Why did I have to come of age now when everything's on fucking fire and falling apart?
Well, you know the saying, Sif, hard times make strong men, and if anything, on the dating thing, I would argue it's kind of the best time for us to date because of the fact that so many men are just choosing not to date. It's just that it's not like we got better, so the bar has been lowered so much that if you simply give a woman your credit card to buy drinks at the bar where you go take a piss, she'll like be heads over heels for you.
Wait, seriously?
You know, I shit you not, bro. There was this girl in Los Angeles who was a feminist. She mainly dates like femboys and stuff. She went to date with this more traditional guy. I don't know if this guy was a conservative or not. He was a bit more, but he was traditional, per se. And basically, they went to a restaurant. They had a good time. He paid for the meal because usually she would either split the bill or pay it herself, but he insisted on like paying it. And then they went to a bar. He goes to the bathroom. But before he leaves, he gives her card and say, "Hey, here's my credit card. Buy as many drinks as you want. I'll be right back." And then he leaves and goes to the bathroom. And she was like heads over heels over this guy. But like at the same time, he was doing the bare minimum. All he did was give her a card. It wasn't like he you know, fixed her house or anything. He just gave her a card. But because that act was so simple, because so many men were not doing that, the ones she was dating, it just blew her mind. And I think if guys just do, you know, simple things like that, you know, some people joke about like, oh, I'm gonna ask out a girl and I get accused of sexual assault, but at the same time, it's like, when the heck has that ever happened? Like,
it's happened. It's happened.
I don't get me wrong. Like, I know, like, it's one thing, like, you're having sex with a girl and they sure accuse you of rape. That I know for a fact. I mean, that's a nasty thing. But, like, if you simply ask out for a girl and she says no, usually that's, like, the end of it. That's, like, the worst thing. Now, granted, if you're, like, asking over and over, she's making it clear it's no, that's a different story. That's just harassment at that point. But, like, if you go to a girl, you ask her on a date, and she says no, and you just walk away, 9 out of 10, nothing happens. You just kind of move on with your day.
Yeah. I'll give you that. I guess social media and dating apps is kind of just not the way I should be doing this. Thing is,
I've said this. All right. Let me
no,
I guess I know it's a bit cliche. Let me get this out real quick, just to get out there. We gotta keep this one thing in mind. The internet is not real life.
I know, Rick.
I have to make
as someone who has had.
I know you know. But there's some people out there who don't get that. I want to make that clear for our audience, you know? Just be cautious of what you see online, because when you go in real life, you talk to people, most people are a lot more sensible than what the internet makes them out to be.
Oh yeah, no, the internet brings out the worst in people. Thankfully, the worst I have to offer at the internet is a shameless flirt. I am, okay. I'm gonna level with you folks. Back in 2020, I had no computer. My old computer broke. I was trying to build a computer, and the parts were DOA. So I had damn near fuck all to do. I had near nothing to do aside from work. So I did two things. I got in shape, because I was working out, swimming laps in the pool every day for sometimes up to 5 hours. And I shit posted on Twitter as a Sonic the Hedgehog OC. And I got into, and I had, like, I got into internet relationships doing that. And, you know, I was, something about that just brought out the anonymity combined with the absolute fuck all to do. I turned into a ladies' man. Now, I am not like that in real life. You might have guessed. Well, then again, there was that night at the cadet ball, but that was an unusual circumstance. I kind of had that same anonymity, lost in the crowd type thing going on. In real life, person to person, that ain't me, Chief. But if the worst I have to offer is a shameless flirt who's hitting on every girl I come across, you know, there's worse things I could be. But yeah, I've heard it said the internet is where broken people go to reinvent themselves. It's a very true statement. The internet does bring out the worst in people. In real life, well, okay. Every now and then you do run into a psychotic nut job who's way too plugged into the culture war and will act just as psychotic in real life as they do online. But for the vast majority of people, what you see on the internet is usually an exaggeration, a extreme exaggeration of how they are in real life. Most people are pretty chill IRL. That said, I've been doing this whole dating thing wrong, because dating apps, ass cancer. Don't bother. Social media, better, but not ideal.
True.
Apparently, I gotta go to bars.
Well, not necessarily bars. I think it's just a matter of just going out there and just, you know, finding people in public.
Well, where do people my age in their 20s go to gather? In, like, fucking San Diego?
Honestly, if I were you, given your area, I would just do some research into the area. Just see where people tend to go. Because I know the third place isn't as common as it used to be, but there's gotta be places out there where people are congregating outside of, like, work.
Right. I mean,
Like,
there is the beach, but the beach is, like, a long-ass drive.
But yeah, that would be my first advice, actually. Just go online, do some research, and look for places where people hang out. Like, maybe, like, a go-karting place, maybe some laser tag thing. I don't know. There's examples, but, like, I don't know. It depends. Like I said, it depends on where you're at. Just look what kind of places people tend to meet. Go there and just go for it. You never really know. And, you know, you're a decent-looking dude. You're not like Arnold Schwarzenegger levels of buff, but like you're not like, you know, the little like Ernie like nerdy type person either.
I've kind of got frat bro vibes at this point with my beer gut that I got by drinking soda. Yeah, I have frat bro vibes essentially.
Maybe get yourself a nice sorority girl.
I mean, maybe. Aren't sorority girls like 9s and 10s? I'm just being real. I'm probably like a 7 or an 8.
Here's the funny part, though, right? I don't know where I read this, but this is pretty good. When a guy gets with a girl, nobody's surprised with the girl he ends up with. But when a girl ends up with a man, they can be really shocked by the kind of men she ends up with. Because one of the differences between men and women is that women tend to value, like they like guys who are attractive, don't get me wrong, but they tend to value the emotional stuff a lot more.
Yes,
so if you're not
absolutely.
If you're not like the hottest man in the world, but you're able to provide for her, you have a great personality, you have good values, that's gonna like keep her a lot longer than if you're simply just a good-looking guy who has like shit beliefs.
Yeah, there was the last girl I dated IRL. Her name was Emily, and one of the reasons that she fell in love with me is I reminded her of her deceased grandfather, who was like a father figure to her. Her father was around, but he was a shithead from what I heard. Because she lived with her grandmother for most of her life. The way we met was funny too. I was working that post at the Hepe quarantine site in El Cajon, and she was on her way to work running late, and she missed her bus, and I'm like, I'll call an Uber for you, miss. Don't worry about it. And she came back later to thank me, and we just started talking. We talked and talked for like 3 hours.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Just curious, if you don't mind me asking, whatever happened to that?
Honestly, I wish I knew. One day she just stopped responding to my texts.
Oh, you guys didn't even... Were you ever officially dating, or was it just
Yeah,
like
we were... No, we were officially dating for a while.
Oh. That's odd, and...
She suffered from paranoid schizophrenia, so... Yeah. I hope she's alright. She could be hospitalized somewhere for all I know.
Oh dear. Okay, yeah,
we actually met in the weeks leading up to my hospitalization, and she still was willing to date me after I got out of the hospital. And yeah, that was interesting.
I hope she's
There's
doing
something to be said
well,
for that kind of loyalty, though, where if a girl will stay with you even while you're in hospice or in crisis housing, yeah, she's definitely got loyalty there.
Yeah, that's a keeper. That's the kind of person you normally wouldn't want to like lose, because that kind of loyalty is hard to find these days.
Absolutely.
Like there was this one dude who like got into a serious accident and like he ended up hospitalized. I think this person ended up like cheating on him while he was in the thing.
Oh, that is fucked up.
Yeah, not only that, when he got out, they just got back together and just pretended the whole thing didn't happen.
Oh, that is so greasy.
Yeah, I read this.
One of the things that like made me hesitant to like have this be a long-term thing, though, because admittedly I was dating for fun in that relationship, but she was too, so it kind of worked out. But the thing is, I don't know if I've told you about this. My family has a history of paranoid schizophrenia. My dad's mom had it, and my mom's dad had it. We are incredibly lucky that none of us kids got it. For all the laundry, for all the mental illnesses I do have, I am thrilled that I do not have paranoid schizophrenia.
Didn't you make a joke about that in the hospital? It's like, yeah, I may have all these problems, at least I'm not schizophrenic.
Yes, that is literally a quote by me. I'm like, okay, so it's like, all right, I've got depression, bipolar disorder, ADHD, autism, but at least I'm not a schizophrenic. Woo! Yeah!
Bro, that'd be like if you broke your arms, your legs, and your back, but it's like, hey, listen, break my neck.
Well, yeah, I'm not paralyzed from the neck down. Let's fucking go!
Well, then again, it's easier to recover from broken bones than a broken mind.
Very true. Bones will reset, assuming that you're young enough. Your brain, that's a lot more complicated.
Very delicate machine.
So yeah, so odds are, if me and Emily were ever to get married and have kids, if that had happened, good chance that our kids would have had schizophrenia. And we just weeded that out of the gene pool. I'm not about to go and reintroduce that.
Yeah, smart move. That's a good one.
I am, this is a very hot take, but I am not against eugenics entirely.
What do you mean by eugenics exactly?
Like, if we were to weed out if we were to weed out mental illnesses or physical deformities from the gene pool, think about the good it would do in the long run. Yes, it's an asshole move to the people who are unfortunate enough to suffer from those conditions, but think about the big picture for a second. To get
Wait, so let me get this straight. So you're basically saying that like if somebody has a disorder that you think is destructive, they should not reproduce?
I'm not against the idea of it. If someone told me, Seth, don't have kids because of the laundry list of mental illnesses, I'd be like, I'm not happy about it, but I can always adopt. Fair point.
That's See, here's the thing though. If it's one thing if you voluntarily choose not to have kids because you're concerned about those kind of things passing down, because some of them are genetic. I would not encourage it though, because God that calls to be fruitful and multiply, so I approach it from that perspective. However, at the same time, if you're concerned about that and you choose voluntarily to not do it, I can respect that because at that point it's just your choice to not have kids. I
Right.
can't force you to have kids. That'd be crazy. However, if you try stopping like other people having kids through like especially legislative means, that I would have to oppose wholeheartedly. Because at that point,
Yeah, the state
uh,
shouldn't be in the business of doing that. That's just gonna cause problems. No, we'll have the private market do it.
so are you to like so people
Our
voluntarily,
corporate
or just people
overlords
choosing,
will
like,
tell the people not to reproduce.
I
I'm being sarcastic here, by the way.
no, I got you, my dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. Adoption is an option, though, and some people could choose not to date people with those kind of things. I just want to make sure we're clear on what your perspective is on the matter, because it's one of those things where, like, if we're not careful, it can be taken wildly out of context.
Oh, it's all. I already know. I am like prepared for if people take my shit out of context. Because let's face it, I say some really out of pocket shit that if you don't have the full context for, you just be like, what is this guy's major malfunction?
Yeah, the only one who can actually, Omen's a lot worse in that regards,
Yeah,
especially on Twitter. Like, you have to know him
Omen's
first.
fucking hysterical.
Yeah, but like you need to. I feel like he's one of those people where you have to know him personally to get where he's coming from, because otherwise he's gonna sound like an asshole.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Um, the good news is that Omen is the kind of person that nobody. He's like. I got it. He's the anti-Semitic Tariq Nasheed. Nobody takes him seriously.
That's actually kind of a good thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's for the best that nobody takes Omen seriously. Because if people did take him seriously, we'd have problems. Imagine.
Oh, you know what though? There was one thing I forgot to mention. So basically, another thing I did this past weekend. I know it's a bit off topic. I know we're getting a little serious, but I think it's good to pivot to something lighter because I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's getting a little
absolutely.
darker. Especially for a Christmas stream, it's getting a little dark. So I think it's
Yeah,
just,
this is less a this has gone from like this is like gone from Home Alone to Home Alone, but it's a snuff film starring the burglars.
oh gee.
Harry and Marv get fucking decapitated.
Oh boy.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
that's wild. Yeah, this episode's been insane. I almost forgot it was Christmas for a second there.
The only thing that's Christmas about this episode is the fucking decor in the TARDIS.
Oh boy. Now where was I? Oh yes, another thing this weekend was, so my birthday was actually this past Tuesday, almost a week ago.
Yeah, how'd that
And
go for you, man?
went pretty well. We didn't do too much because it's a work day and everyone was busy. So we celebrated the weekend before and the weekend after. It was kind of interesting. There was a lot going on. But on Tuesday, I got Mario Wonder, and I actually beat the game earlier today.
Oh, how is that game?
Oh, it's a blast. Like, it's one of the best 2D Marios I've ever played. It looks great. It plays like butter. All the levels are like really sweet. You can actually beat the game in just a couple I beat the game in like a week. You beat it in like a couple days if you just put a couple hours into it.
Wow.
But yeah, the levels are also really creative. It's very different from other Mario games. It doesn't follow the standard, New Super Mario Bros. Formula. There's some familiar stuff in there, but there's a lot that's different. Like, there's a whole world where you have to pass a bunch of trials to get the seed, and there's another one where you have to rescue a group of miners who got trapped underground, which is really fascinating. And there's also the central hub area that has other levels but connects to the other worlds, but also has the final level in it. There's a lot going on there. And there's just so much to do. There's a wide cast of characters to choose from, and with the exception of Nabbit and the Yoshis, they all play the same. So you can just pick your personal favorite and go from there.
Oh, this game does have Yoshis then.
Yes, you play as the Yoshis. And Yoshi plays exactly like how he did in like the Yoshi Island games.
Oh, you
So
play as Yoshi?
Yeah, you actually have 4 different Yoshis you can control. So you have a party of 4, you can be all the Yoshis. And yes, Yoshis can ride other Yoshis, and other players can ride Yoshi.
Okay,
Yep.
that's cool. That's kind of cool. Other players riding Yoshi's cool. I was see, when they brought back Yoshi in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I cannot tell you how disappointed I was when I found out that you can only take them through the levels that you find them in. Is this one of those? Is this like that too, or is it like Mario World rules where you can keep Yoshi between levels?
It's more like Yoshi's his own playable character that's separate from the others. So if you play as Yoshi, you're just like another character where like you don't lose Yoshi, you can actually do an entire playthrough being Yoshi.
Oh,
let me put it this way.
So kind of like Super Mario 64 DS then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But he also because he also kind of functions like the Yoshi in the game, where you can ride Yoshi around if you're a different character. Like if you have one guy's Mario, one guy's Yoshi, you can ride Yoshi as Mario, and like you can work together to go through the levels that way. But your Yoshi, you can also ride other Yoshis as well, and that's pretty interesting. But yeah, Yoshi's on Iden. He's a full-on character with his own moveset, and you can be in the entire game as Yoshi, which is really cool.
Interesting. Yeah, for some reason, I always liked it better. I like Yoshi as a mount more than I do as a playable character. As said by... Oh, Chibi! Cringy Chibi-chan. As said by Superman Wannabe, I am here. Well, we're glad to have you with us, Chibi. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, we were just talking about Super Mario Wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, Mario Wonder's a blast. It's a lot of fun. It took me a couple days. I actually beat it earlier today, actually. It was a blast. I beat all the levels. I got all the Wonder Seeds. I already completed, like, 3 of the worlds. Actually, 4 of the worlds, actually. Because there's 8 in total, but there's 6 main worlds. There's the Central Hub World, which has its own set of levels. And then there's a Special World, which has, like, some of the hardest levels in the game.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. They make the Special World the hardest because, you know, you gotta find it. Oh, Chibi-chan in the chat. Yes, Merry Christmas, Dove, and a Happy New Year, la 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 la.
La 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 la. I'll say, this is going on way longer than our last Branch Brothers episode, I'll say that.
Yeah, that's kind of because we have more to talk about on here than we did BB, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, my topic went a bit shorter than I expected. I mean, I know it wasn't a crazy topic, but, like, I was surprised by how quick it went.
Yeah, I thought that with 1.5 pages of notes, it'd take longer than it did, too.
Yeah, that's okay. Thankfully, I do have something... I know I talked about this last episode. I got something bigger planned for next week, so we can at least end on a high note. Also, Seth, be sure to review the lyrics before we do the worship segment.
Yes, I know. I'm bad about that.
Alright, I just want to make sure we have another Emmanuel incident again.
Yeah. I mean, what can I say? I'm a one-man operation. I'm barely having time to edit videos these days.
Yeah,
I feel like I think that part of my problem is I'm juggling too many plates, so to speak. Because I have school, I have work, I have the regular streams, I have this podcast, and we also have BB. That's five major commitments that I have.
I've been having kind of the same problem because, like, well, I don't have work for right now because I'm on vacation, but when I had work, there were this podcast, Branch Brothers, Ideal While You're Friends. I was showing up there a lot more. There's also going to the gym. There's my Spanish lessons. There's also, you know, just general tech. It's a lot. I think I got piled up too on my end.
Chibi in the chat. I wish I was here earlier, but I was lost in space looking for the Ultra Dimension, or I was taking a nap. Oh, you know what that reminds me of? I had a really weird ass dream last night. This is the kind of shit you'd expect from like not Christmas Eve dreams. This is some Halloween dreams. I was fighting zombies like with a nail gun.
Nice.
Yeah, that was wild. It was cool though.
Was I there?
You might have been. I know that somebody I know was in that dream, but I can't remember who specifically it was. And they were fighting zombies with like a wooden baseball bat.
That sounds like something I would do if I were in an apocalypse. Either that or just start blasting with like a machine of some kind of like multi-barrel machine gun or something.
See, I wouldn't be using a fucking nail gun to fight zombies. I would have, because this is California, I would have to rely on my sword that I have, or if I could get a hold of some guns, I'd be using a revolver and an automatic rifle of some sort. Probably an M4 or an M16, since that's what the US military has. Honestly, I love the design of the M16 from the Vietnam era. That thing's the circular barrel, not the circular grip one, not the triangular grip one. There's just something cool about that design. Chibi in the chat, ooh, zombie killing dreams. People say if you dream that way, you'll be kissed by a dog on Christmas Eve. Or I'm just joking. I am a little hyper, so if I get overboard, it's because of the milk and sugar cereal I ate earlier and a lot. Well, okay. Well, honestly, Chibi, I don't mind. Having people active in the chat is what makes streaming interesting.
Exactly, gives us stuff to talk about.
Absolutely.
Especially a show like this where we just have no topics going into it.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know what? Speaking of Christmas stuff, I've also been watching What If, the Marvel show on Disney Plus. They just started their second season last Friday, and they're doing this thing where they have a new episode every single day, from Friday till like the end of the year, basically. And my goodness, this season is so much better than the last one. Like with season one, don't get me wrong, I like season one. I thought it was good for what it was, but there were definitely a couple episodes where that were just, kind of meh. Not like terrible, but just okay. Every single episode so far from season two has been a blast. Like they've all been good.
Well, that's cool.
So, yeah. So the first one was one where that basically was like, what if like Ronan betrayed Thanos, and as a result, in that reality, Ronan betrayed Thanos and killed him and wiped out his army. Nebula was the only survivor, and she ends up joining the Nova Corps. But then when Ronan invades, there's no Guardians of the Galaxy in this reality, so instead they just seal the planet up. And as a result, after a couple of years, corruption takes over the planet. And so what ends up happening is that Nova Prime, in allegiance with Yon-Rogg, makes a deal with Ronan to basically open the shield to allow him to come and destroy the planet in exchange to maintain her power. And once Nebula finds out, she gathers a ragtag team that consists of herself, Howard the Duck.
Howard the fucking Duck?
Yup.
Oh my god.
Yup. Howard the Duck. They got Korg and Meek, and then they had who else? Oh, they got Groot as well. So it was almost like a different version of like the Guardians of the Galaxy, except of like Guardians of like
Guardians
Raxus
of the
or something.
Shitpost.
Of the Sandor, yep, and they basically they save the planet. They kill Ronan by crushing the shield on his ship. They defeat Nova Prime, who just falls to her death, and it basically ends with like them liberating the planet. So that was actually, it was almost like a detective mystery type show. It was really fascinating. And then after that, the second episode was actually one where Peter Quill actually goes to his father as a child, where Yondu actually goes through with the deal. And as a result,
Chibi in the chat, Marvel and Howard the Duck. Wow, here come the kawaii furry fans and bronies or whatever, or whoever is into ducks and furry creatures. WWJKJK. Well, I mean, you gotta remember, Chibi, I'm not a brony. I do enjoy the show. Honestly, if someone called me a furry because of my Sonic OC, I would not have a defense. I'm not winning that legal case, Chief.
Well, nobody knows for your Sonic OC aside from like the deep lore fans.
True. Actually, you know what the really funny thing is? He looks like this. My OC actually kind of looks like this incarnation. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to go to find it. No, it's not like you have a link to, hell, here's my Sonic thing on there
I
anywhere.
may or may not have promoted my streams on my Sonic OC Twitter once or twice.
Does anyone follow you on there?
Not that joined us here, but that could change. You never know.
Maybe. We'll keep an eye on that. Now, where was
Oh
I?
yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yes.
Sorry, I'm not against the furries. I'm actually used to have a crush on Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh my god, Chibi. Hopefully I don't regret saying that. I mean, I can't call you cringe because I have a Sonic OC, but you know, careful who you tell that to.
I mean, if it's a childhood crush kind of thing, that's one thing, because kids have a lot of weird things, but, like, if this is a more recent thing, that's where I get a little more concerned.
Admittedly, when I was a teenager, I crushed on... Shit, who didn't I crush on? I crushed on Winry Rockbell from Full Metal Alchemist. Teenage Seth had good taste in there. I crushed on Heather from Silent Hill 3. And, she was 17 and I was 17 at the time, so it's cool. I crushed on... Rouge the Bat. Did I crush on Rouge the Bat? No. Wait, maybe. I don't remember. Amy Rose, yes. Which, in retrospect, why? It's yeah,
that's a weird one.
I crushed on Princess Leia as a kid. I mean, Carrie Fisher looked great back in the day. Obviously wouldn't be crushing on her now.
Well, Carrie Fisher isn't with us anymore, so...
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she died, like, almost a decade ago.
Wait, seriously? Was it 2013?
Yeah, 2016.
Okay, so 7 years. Oh my god. How has it been that long? What the fuck is happening to time?
I think COVID messed things up, or more accurate, a response to it.
Yeah, we 5 years of our lives or was it 5 or 3? 3 to 5 years of our lives stolen.
Dude, you know what? I just occurred to me. We're living in the real life equivalent to the blip.
The blip?
Yeah, it's a time period more where, you know, remember at the end of Infinity War? Oh no, you never saw that movie.
No, I didn't.
So basically, what happened was when the snap happened, you know, 5 years have passed away, but what happened was the people who were snapped 5 years ago, when Hulk snapped again, they came back, but they came back as who they were 5 years earlier. So for them, it just felt like everything just blitzed forward 5 years. Like the last 5 years just never happened. That's kind of what happened to a lot of the people who didn't. That's kind of what happened to a lot of the people who didn't die during COVID, right? It's like because they were just in their houses 24/7 for years in some cases, you know, they just couldn't form concrete memories of those times. How that time didn't happen, didn't exist. It's just we never formed the memories to maintain those years. So it just kind of flew by.
Yeah.
Where the heck was I? Oh yes, back to What If Review. So second episode, Peter Quill goes to his dad much earlier, so as a result, his dad sends him to Earth.
Chibi, I am not answering that. Actually, you know what? I will answer that, but I'll let Rick finish first.
Yeah. Where was I? Yeah, so basically, what ends up happening is they basically assemble the Avengers way earlier than usual, and the line was quite interesting. We have T'Challa's father, who was the previous Black Panther. We have the original Ant-Man. We have Goliath, and we have the Winter Soldier. We have also Thor's in this one too, because like in this reality, like a lot of the 9 realms get destroyed by like Ego and stuff. So, but eventually, what ends up happening is that they've actually freed Peter Quill from the curse of his dad, and they end up defeating Ego, so they save the Earth. But then it ends with them heading off to Ego's homeworld to destroy Ego for good, which is interesting. Then the third one was actually a Christmas special for What If, where basically in this reality, somehow Justin Hammer gets out of prison and attacks Avengers Tower on Christmas Eve, or Christmas Day, and tries to steal like some Hulk blood to become a superhero. But what ends up happening is that instead, Happy Hogan gets the Hulk blood instead, and he turns to like a purple version of the Hulk, which is kind of interesting. And Justin Hammer steals the Hulkbuster armor to fight Hulk Hogan, basically.
Wait. I'm sorry. I zoned out for a bit. Hulk Hogan?
No, and not the Hulk Hogan. It was Happy Hogan as as a
What?
Hulk. Yeah, it was kind of
Who the
interesting.
fuck is Happy Hogan?
Oh, that's Tony Stark's personal assistant. Not
I thought
assistant,
that
but
was
like his.
Jarvis.
Well, in this on the MCU, Jarvis is an AI.
Right.
Happy is oh no, Happy is the bodyguard. That's what he is. He's the bodyguard that helps out from time to time.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's who that is. And that is into the Avengers showing up. They save the day. They beat Justin Hammer. Although Happy is still a Hulk's person, it doesn't really go much there. And then the latest one was actually one that was supposed to air for season 1, but they didn't get a chance to finish it during time constraints. Basically, it's the one where like Tony Stark doesn't make it back to Earth after the first Avenger, so he ends up on Sakaar, and he ends up in this like racing gauntlet thing. He ends up making a new suit of armor that can transform into a race car, which is really
Oh,
cool.
that's fucking hype.
Yeah, and it actually ends like he works with Gamora and Valkyrie and Korg to defeat the Grandmaster, and they end up leaving Sakaar, and they actually will go on to defeat Thanos way earlier in the timeline. So yeah, that was really interesting. But yeah, basically, this season has been a blast. Every episode, like my descriptions are not doing these episodes justice whatsoever. You really need to see these to get a grip of how good they are. They are just that good, especially if you are a fan of the MCU pre-Endgame, you are gonna like this season. Like, there's a lot of twists I did not expect that work way better than you think they would, and it's such a blast. And this season's not even over. We still have 5 episodes left, and I'm really looking forward to how the rest of these ones turn out.
Well, that's interesting. All right, now I gotta do the walk of shame. Cause Chibi asked about my history with Sonic fanfiction. Now, I never wrote any, but I did do my fair share of reading back when I was a teenager. Um, and I spent a good amount of time on fanfiction.net. And I'll just level with you. It was not safe for work fanfiction. Now, there is one that stands out to me to this day. Not because of anything in the story, but because of the author's note. It's really funny in hindsight. The guy felt the need to put in an author's note about how he's writing this as he's flying home from out of state, from a trip out of state. And then and then mentions how the guy sitting on the plane next to him is watching him write this with a look of, yeah, that's good shit on his like nodding in approval. And I'm like, who the fuck writes that? Like, why?
Oh dear.
Oh no, an ad. Oh, can't hear you now. Well, the ad break ends in about a minute, so we can just wait on that. But yeah, no. And mind you, one of my when my first exposure to fanfiction.net was on a phone that had internet access, but it wasn't a smartphone. It was one of those old proto-smartphones, you know, the kind that had like the keypad and all that, and it could go on the internet, but it didn't have like apps like we have now. It had like a few extra functions, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, it was from that time period. And it was an LG chocolate. I wonder if I still have it. Do I still have it? No, it's not in my desk anymore. Shit. That was one of the, I held on to that phone even though it didn't work for the longest time because of how much I loved the design. It was sleek and small, and it was like, imagine a smartphone now but shrunk down to like maybe a fourth of its size. And it had like a gold-plated back. It was well, man, I wish they still made phones like that. Don't get me wrong, smartphones are nice. It's cool what they can do, that we can have a computer in our pocket. But I don't know, there's just something to be said for like the tiny phones that were like really sleek, but didn't have as much functionality. Back then you had to really work hard to stand out as a phone. Nowadays, ow! What the fuck? Okay, evidently that still works.
What?
or the sound alerts. Chibi played the sonic screwdriver, and I need to adjust that because that really hurt. That hurt my ears.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tone down the volume on that alert. Oops, sorry, I thought it was gonna be something cool. I mean, the sonic screwdriver sound alert is kind of cool. But I just need to set it up so that it doesn't rupture my eardrums. Oh my god, can you believe it? We've been at this for an hour and 40 minutes.
Woohoo! Nice.
Yeah. Do you want to bring it to 2 hours?
Sure. If we can. Wait, where's you said 140, right?
Yeah, an hour and 40.
Yeah, we can run another 20 minutes. I know I talked a lot about different like Christmas stuff.
Yeah. Chibi in the
I guess
chat,
we could
sorry
do-
about that, Sethi Doveman. Doveman, that's an interesting one. Yeah, we've talked about Christmas stuff, we've talked about politics, we've talked about Daily Wire nonsense. We've talked about cringe. I have admitted to the cringe. What else can we cover?
Well, I guess how about this? Let's talk about our favorite Christmas movies.
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, actually, no. For me, that's the movie It's a Wonderful Life. I can really relate to George Bailey. Not just because of the whole nervous breakdown thing, but also the frustration with life not turning out the way you had hoped it would.
Oh, sorry, what movie was that again?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, is that the one where like, oh, I think I've heard of that one. Is that the one where like, the guy tries to win over that girl or something?
Sort of? Not
Elaborate.
really. Okay, so the movie opens with this guy, God is talking with a guardian angel about this one guy named George Bailey. They go over his life from childhood to present day in the movie, and God is basically telling the guardian angel, look, this guy is planning to self-terminate. You need to convince him that life is worth living. And so the climax of the movie is the angel showing George what the world would be like if he was never born. And it's a very sobering, very sad existence without him. He doesn't realize all the good that he's done. But part of the reason that he's under is part of the reason he's like gotten to this point is you find out about the film's villain, Mr. Potter, who stole like however much money, I can't remember the exact amount, and he needs to pay that, or he's going to jail. And oh god, I can't do this movie fucking justice. It's been too long since I've seen it. It's a Wonderful Life is yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it tonight. Screw Die Hard. I'm watching It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because like a lot of people a lot of my friends in my friend group have been talking about it, but I've never seen it, so I don't know what it's like.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie. I have it saved to my computer, so I can. Oh, actually, I don't know if I could send that via Discord. That might be too large a file to send via Discord.
I mean, you could just stream it.
That's true. Maybe I'll stream it later tonight after I'm done with the Assassin's Creed stream. Cause oh yeah, did I tell you about this?
What?
I'm gonna be stealing Christmas.
Oh yeah, I think we did talk about that earlier.
Oh
today.
yeah, that was like the very start of the stream. Chibi, Chiu-Chen, who'd you say, a film without Jesus or something, or was It's a Wonderful Life? I'm a bit confused. It's the second one, isn't it? Yeah, it's the second one, Chibi. I tend to linger in my thoughts, sorry, and not focus. Oh, Chibi, don't worry. I have ADHD. I'm the same way. But yeah, I tend to lose track and go off focus really easily. This whole podcast is a product of that. This podcast exists because me and Rick were so prone to going off topic in the early episodes of Branch Brothers that we're like, you know what, why don't we just make a spin-off podcast where it's us just shit posting for an hour and a half or however long it goes.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best decisions we've ever made.
Yeah, to be continued. It can either be a short form podcast, or it can go for as long as it like. It's kind of behind the scenes, and just entertainment all rolled into one.
Yeah, especially you know, whenever like one of us tends to doze off and fly to space, we have the other to bounce off of, and it usually hilarity issues when that happens.
Oh yeah. So what is your favorite Christmas movie, Rick?
Ooh, I would have to say Elf. Elf is a classic.
Why does everyone love that movie?
It's hilarious, bro. It's literally just about a guy who's facing the North Pole and has to like adjust to real life.
I guess. I don't know why. I just never vibed with Elf. I do love the scene where he's decorating the department store for Christmas, though. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, remember the part where like he's trying to decorate the tree and he tries to put the star. He just jumps on the tree and it falls down. And then there's the part where like there's this girl singing in the shower, and then he's singing with her.
That scene always gets. That scene makes me uncomfortable. Like I feel uncomfortable watching it around other people. I'm like, no.
I mean, in Buddy's defense, he didn't know that like somebody was naked in there.
Yeah, no, he did not know. Buddy is too innocent to know about any of that nonsense. Chibi in the chat, I liked Elf too, but personally I prefer the Polar Express, and Jingle Jangle Jingle, and whatever I remember. Polar Express, now that is a fucking movie. That movie, I liked it as a kid, but it also creeped me out. Mostly the Scrooge puppet and the ghost of the homeless man. The snow spirit, the guy on top of the train. Those two, the scene with the puppets and Scrooge scared the bejesus out of me, and the snow spirit just made me feel like really uneasy. Its music was god tier. Oh, absolutely. The music in that film is incredible. With one exception. The singing of that one kid, oh god, I can't, the main character and the little girl go to like a back car and run into a kid singing, That's All I Want When Christmas Comes to Town. Like, this is probably gonna get me flamed in the comments. I'm not really a fan of that one particular song. The rest of the movie's songs are the rest of the movie's music are absolute bangers, though.
Wait, which song was that again?
I can't remember. I only remember three lyrics. That's all I want when Christmas comes to town. But Chibi in the chat. But yeah, the puppet scene got me too. Might have been the many reasons why I have puppet phobia. I can't watch shows I used to. I mean, I'm not really afraid of puppets per se. It's I'd have to rewatch it I'd actually have to rewatch Polar Express now to tell you if the puppet scene still creeps me out. I can tell you the Frost Ghost still gives me a deep sense of unease.
I don't know much about that. Actually, going back to Elf, one of my favorite scenes is actually the part where like Buddy like talks to like the book publisher when they're in that board meeting room, and it's playing Peter Dinklage. Was actually one of his first roles. I think. And like he thought he was an elf because he was short, and the guy got mad because he's a midget, and so he just beats up Buddy.
I'm like, that's a great scene. You know
like,
what's
fun? Call me Elf one more time. Call me Elf.
I'm pretty sure Peter Dinklage wasn't acting when he did that. I'm pretty sure that was just Peter Dinklage just being Peter Dinklage.
Dude, if that were the case, that'd be amazing.
I like to imagine Peter Dinklage just walked on set, was trying to film something else entirely. They're like, "Hey, man, you want to act as an extra in this board? You want a cameo in this boardroom meeting?" He's like, "Oh yeah, let's do this." And then that was when Buddy started calling him Elf, and Peter Dinklage just was not fucking having it. I've heard conflicting things about Peter Dinklage. I've heard that he's kind of an asshole, but I've also heard he's like super chill, and I have no idea which is true.
Yeah, I know some people thought that like he was the reason they almost cut the dwarves in the Snow White remake. But
Yeah,
apparently, because I was talking to you know, Hardboiled Entertainment.
Hardboiled. Yeah, one of Micah's mods, right?
Yeah, I was actually talking with him, and apparently that was not the case. What had happened was he did an interview or talking about like the seven dwarves, and he basically said something along the lines of, "Hey, I don't mind them if they like cast midgets as like the dwarves because you know dwarves are short people basically." All he said was, "Yeah, just don't make them into like stereotypical midgets. Just make them actual characters." And somehow Disney, of all people, took the line out of context to indicate that, like, oh, he didn't want, like,
So they
midgets
were
playing
shifting
dwarves
the.
at all.
So what probably happened is Disney was shifting the blame.
Yeah, and then and the funny thing is, a lot of people on the right took Disney's bait. They thought that Peter Dinklage didn't want midgets playing dwarves, when that opposite it was the exact opposite. And it's like, and apparently, no, everyone on the right who was on the culture, you know, the people on the right who cover like cultural issues and stuff, every single one of those people missed this. He's like, it amazes me how many people did not even notice this, did not even fact check this. It's crazy to me. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of wild. How did everyone on the right miss that?
Well, that's why I take the culture war stuff with a grain of salt. Because the right
True.
is just as fallible as the left. It
Of
just so
course,
happens that
absolutely.
I agree with them most of the time.
Well, yeah, I agree with them because usually they tend to the more common sense takes, whereas with the left, they'll tend to make everything about like race and gender and sexuality, and it just goes completely off the wonkers. At least with the right, they at least try to ground it in reality. It's just, especially when it's something they're not as familiar with, it can get kind of wonky. Like if I see someone covering anime who doesn't watch anime, they're not gonna understand the same way as someone who's been watching anime for years. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. If you don't know what you're talking about, what the fuck are you doing? Chibi in the chat, I hate it when people twist your words. It's a common trait among humans, unfortunately. I mean, kind
Well,
of.
in their defense, it wasn't that they twisted his words, is that they were quoting what they thought were his words, but it was the one that Disney twisted to make him sound bad. And like, that's why people got misled on that front. Because I think Disney did it early enough to where it wasn't as well known. So when the story did break, that's the version people thought. And it wasn't just the right in their defense, it was like everyone thought that Peter said that. When like you have to go back to like the original interview he did to find the original quote. It was pretty obscure actually. I was kind of shocked by it. But Harpo actually took the time to like go through and actually check all this stuff, and that's how he was able to figure out, oh wait, no, this is what he actually said. It was in this like one interview that that everyone in the press just took out of context, and it just went like off the rails from there.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? You know what else is a great Christmas movie? Scrooged. Have you ever seen that?
Rouge.
Scrooged.
Is that an adaptation of like
It's an adaptation of A Christmas Carol starring Bill Murray. It is fantastic. It's hysterical too.
Because the version I remember was actually the one that Disney did that had Jim Carrey. It was a
Oh
CGI one.
yes, I've heard great things about that. I want to see it.
Oh, I love that movie. It is so good. You haven't seen it, you gotta give it a watch. It's a great one.
Yeah, there's so many great adaptations of A Christmas Carol. You got the Disney one, you got the Muppets one, you got
everyone loves the Muppets one. That one people talk about all the time.
You got the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah.
You've got Scrooged. Oh God. Actually, you know what else is great? The Santa Claus. The first one. I've never seen the second one, so I can't attest to its quality. The third one's... Ugh. No.
Yeah, the one with Jack Frost, that was a little wonky. The second one, I remember the second one because basically the story there was that Santa's magic energy was being depleted. So in order to keep being Santa Claus, he had to find his Mrs. Claus.
Right.
But he never got like married, so he was trying to do that. So they had a robot come in and do his job. But then the robot turned evil, trying to give everyone coal. So Santa had to stop the Robo Santa, and basically
Wait a minute. You're telling me that Robo Santa turned evil? Did these?
Yes.
Okay. When did Futurama come out? Let me check real quick.
I think that might have been early 2000s because this movie, because the first one came out in the 90s, the second one was like early to mid 2000s.
Okay, hold up. It came out in Futurama Wikipedia. Here we go. 1999. Okay. Now, when did Santa Claus 2 come out? Here we go. The second film came out in 2002. Oh my god! I wonder if the robot Santa that was evil was inspired by Futurama.
Well, it depends. Which episode of Futurama did had an evil Robo Santa, and when
I
did
think
that episode come out?
I want to say that was their first Christmas special. So that would have been probably December of 2000. Oh, Chibi in the chat, what's your favorite Christmas Cartoon Network episode of what show? Mine's Ed and Billy and Mandy and Foster's. Gee, I can't remember all of the Cartoon Network, Oh, no, I remember one, and it was trash.
Which one was that?
Grandma got run over by a reindeer. That is fucking trash. I remember that.
Like that you hate. Yes,
It's
I
awful.
remember that one.
Awful movie.
I get it. Yeah. It's one of those things that just aired like every year. I don't even think it was a Cartoon Network movie. It was just something they just aired because they just had the rights for it.
Pretty much. That I watched a documentary on it, or a video essay on it, on YouTube a couple days ago, and you are exactly right. It's basically they had the rights to it. I vaguely remember liking the Christmas episode for Ed, Edd and Eddy, where Eddie screws the light bulb on the tree, and you know, he kind of learns a lesson from that. You know, he did something that was not done out of self-interest, so that was kind of cool. I'm trying to remember other Christmas specials.
I have a really great one. The regular show Christmas special, fire. That one's great.
You see, regular show was a bit after my time. It's a great show from what I've seen of it, but by that time I wasn't really watching Cartoon Network anymore.
Okay. So you probably haven't seen the Gumball special either.
Nope.
Okay, have you seen the Chowder Christmas special?
I didn't like Chowder.
Really?
Well, it's not that I didn't like it. I just felt it wasn't as good as the cartoons from the previous era of Cartoon Network. That was also my feeling about Camp Lazlo. And My Gym Partner's a Monkey. They weren't as good as the classic cartoons that were airing on the channel, like Courage the Cowardly Dog, Johnny Bravo, Scooby-Doo. You gotta remember, I watched Cartoon Network. I kind of discovered Cartoon Network when I was about 4, and I really watched it extensively from age 4 to like age 10, 11 maybe. And so I kind of the 90s and very early 2000s Cartoon Network was the era that I see as the golden age of Cartoon Network. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is an incredible show, and I will not hear otherwise. But the other new shows that were coming on at around that time, so say Camp Lazlo, and My Gym Partner's a Monkey, just not as good. Now they're not as bad at they're not awful. They aren't Uncle Grandpa or Teen Titans Go, which I consider to be the bottom of the barrel for Cartoon Network. But they're just they aren't as good as the classics. Chibi in the chat. Me and Sis love Courage the Cowardly Dog. We've seen every episode now. We're on to Chowder and we're rewatching it. Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog was an interesting show because I had a childhood boogeyman from that show. That stupid fucking CGI mummy.
That dude?
Yes, Mr. Return the Slab. That was my childhood. That was my childhood nighttime nemesis right there. I had nightmares about that motherfucker as a kid.
Did it cause you to pee your pants?
No. But it did give, I would wake up screaming and not be able to hear myself scream. I had nightmares like that about that dude. I had some intense nightmares as a kid. Fuck, there was a really weird nightmare I had where, Osama bin Laden chainsawed the head off of my teddy bear. That was a surreal one. Yeah. I think I've told you about the nightmares I had about vampires as a kid. That's why I fucking love Castlevania, because I'm beating up on my childhood boogeyman there. I like to think of Castlevania as my revenge on vampires for giving me horrible night terrors as a little kid. The funny thing is, my nightmares about vampires actually stopped at one point once I figured out lucid dreaming. I basically, one night after figuring out that things only exist in my dreams if I think about them, I basically went and like looked for vampires in my dream and told them, "You don't exist when I wake up. If you don't leave me alone, I am never going to go to sleep again, and you will never exist." And after that dream, the nightmares about the vampires actually fucked off.
Ah, nice. Actually, I want to talk about Courage for a little bit. Did you know there was a crossover between him and Scooby-Doo?
No way. When?
Yeah, they had a whole movie and everything.
When was this?
It came out like 2 years ago.
Oh, that explains why it's recent. I didn't even know that Courage the Cowardly Dog was still a thing.
Well, no, it's not a thing. They just did like a crossover movie to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the show.
Oh, okay. Chibi in the chat. Oh yeah, Ramses. I had a nightmare involving a hacksaw too, but it was going through not just my head. I shiver so much. Nightmare fueled gore. Dreams are scary as fuck. It's like, well, yeah. Dreams can be either really cool or dreams come in 3 varieties. Oh, that's fucking cool. Let's go. That was weird. What the fuck was that all about? And oh my god, I am going to die.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what's bizarre though? I had this one dream as a little kid where I was constantly attacked by the strange bee-looking lady who would constantly sting me in the belly button.
What the fuck?
It was weird. I don't know why she did it. She's like, "Oh, I'll get you now." I think it might have stemmed from my fear of bees I developed when I was on my Yellow Jacket at 3. That might have been why.
Oh,
but, like,
bee lady. I thought you said bean lady. I'm like, what?
You guys got stung by a fucking bean? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, bees makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's a bee. Think of like a woman, but she's shaped like a bee. And then she had like a stinger on like the bottom and would like.
You know what oh my god, I actually can imagine what that looks like. Let me see if I can pull it up on Google Images. Have you ever played Wario Land 2?
I have not. I think did you give me the ROM for that one?
I might have sent you all 4.
Yeah, it was a while. I don't think I downloaded those files though.
I am deeply disappointed. Here, this is the thing that comes to mind when you said like a lady shaped like a bee.
Okay, think of that, but like instead of a grandma, it was like a really attractive woman.
Ugh.
But like also the kind that you'd be like afraid of. Like she was like I think 6 feet tall. She was pretty curvy. She had a giant behind with the stinger, and like she would like she would like pick me up and then sting me with her stinger in the belly button, and then I would just start like spazzing from there as soon as that happened. It was kind of wild.
Why is this so small? But yeah, that is some surreal shit there.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. That's not the first time it's happened though. When I was, you know what's funny though? A couple years later, I was in high school. There was this girl who I think was like 6 feet tall. She was I don't know if she was 6. She was ridiculously tall. Because at the time, I think I was just over 5 feet. I wasn't like I wasn't like 5'7" or 5'8" yet. I wasn't like 5'9" yet. I was still like between like 4'11" and just under 5 feet at the time. And this lady was really, really tall. And for some reason, she was really, really infatuated with me. I couldn't tell if she was like being sarcastic or if she genuinely had feelings for me. I just couldn't tell because I got so many mixed signals from her.
Right.
But after my freshman year of high school, never went anywhere. She ended up dyeing her hair black. It was so weird. For a whole year, she kept like flirting with me, joking with me, and being all goofy with her friends. And because of how unsure I was about it, and I was a little kind of shy back then, I didn't really do much about it. I just kind of like, I said hello, but I just kind of ignored it and looked too much into it. And eventually, she just stopped. But like,
Oh my God, Rick, I am so sorry. She was into you.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm like 80% sure she was into you, and because you weren't going for it, because you missed it, my dude. Oh, my
maybe. I mean,
condolences.
it's fine. She wasn't that attractive anyway, so I didn't really miss much.
uh,
Dude, like her face, I remember that's one of the things that irked me off too, was her face. I don't know what it was, but her face looked so like oily and greasy. I don't know if it was just
ugh.
like she didn't wash her face or if it was some kind of like cream she was using, but it looked kind of unnatural and something just turned me off about it. I actually feel less bad about missing out on her than that one girl I turned down because of her braces. Because the year after she lost her braces, I started dating one of my best friends, and I was like,
Oh
"Man, I'm an
man.
idiot. I was a moron."
Ch-
I was gonna be like, "No,
we
no,
get
give her a chance."
Yeah. Chibi in the chat. B lady, OMG, I have an awesome drawing of a bee monster girl. I'ma send you it soonish. Alucard in the chat. At least it wasn't a radioactive bee. Cringy Chibi again. I see what you're doing on Discord. Is that meant to be seen? Yes. Every now and then, if I'm sending something to Rick, I will I will turn on the display so that the chat can see what I'm sending in reference. So that way you guys get the context.
Yeah, I think the thing with me and tall women was that I think when I was really young, I had like a fear of like really tall women because I always felt pretty emasculated around them. Because like typically in most relationships, usually the guy is taller than the girl. So especially when I was a kid, because I was pretty short for a kid. Like I was not as tall as I am now, so it always kind of turned me off. Not turned me off, but like always kind of freaked me out whenever I saw a woman taller than me because like this feels weird. I don't like this. I feel weak. It was kind of strange. I kind of grew out of that. It's kind of funny though because here's one girl I knew, an old friend of mine since elementary school. She was always the tallest person in our class. Like this girl was 5'2" in the second grade.
Oh my lord!
Yup. And like she only got taller from there. There was like only I think one or two guys that were even close to her height, if not taller. Most guys were shorter than her. And then for up until recently she was tall and skinny, but during high school near the end, she just got super curvy out of nowhere, and like it was quite like it was so crazy because the last time I saw her before was like freshman year of high school, where she was super tall still, but still skinny because she has an older sister too.
So tall,
And they were
skinny, and curvy? Hot damn, dude. My kind of lady right there.
no, here's the funny part though, because like when I saw her as a freshman, she was not curvy, she was just skinny because her older sister is tall and skinny too, but she's not curvy at all. So when I see her 3 years later and find out she's super curvy, I was kind of blown away by it because like where did this come from?
Yeah.
Because we haven't spoken in years, so it was kind
Dude,
of surreal.
so people change when they mature. Have you seen the photos of me as a teenager? I was a spindly boy. I was
Yeah.
I was as thin as a rail.
I don't know why. It's just when I see a girl who's like flat chested or has a small butt, and I see them again, they're suddenly curvy, it really throws me off. It's like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, I hear you there.
It's like, here's the thing, right? It's not that they're like ugly or anything. They're actually somewhere actually kind of attractive. But like, it's like you get used to seeing a person a certain way, so when they suddenly change dramatically, it throws you off because it's like, are you even the same person? How could this be?
Chibi, I'm gonna tell you something that's probably gonna make you really salty. There may be beauty in every girl, but but a girl has to work to be beautiful. There is such thing as objective beauty. A man who's overweight is just as unattractive as a lady who's overweight.
Yeah, don't get me started on the facts at this mood. Those people are assholes.
Yeah, it's like I believe that there is such thing as objective beauty, and some people don't like that because that means they're not beautiful. You know what? That's okay. You don't all not everyone can be beautiful. But
Well, I agree and disagree with you. I do agree in the sense that like there objectively speaking, there are things that do make you more attractive, such as like not being overweight, for example. It's just healthier to be of a normal body size, at least at the ideal size. But people do have preferences,
yeah,
and sometimes
yeah.
preferences don't line up with like it can vary from person to person. Because there are people out there who are attracted to heavier women, shall we say.
Yes. We make fun of those people.
You know what's crazy though? There was this one dude, there was this lady who was like a bit chunky. She wasn't like obese yet. She was a bit on the chunky side. She met this guy who was really into fat people, so she would actually gain weight to make him happy. And then he got super fat. Then he became trans, so now they're both women.
What the
And it's
fuck?
like, yeah, it was super weird. The sad part though was there was this nice photo of them with her grandma before she passed away, but he made her put it away because that was before he was trans. He doesn't like seeing pictures of himself before he was trans, so he had her put the photo away.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
Chibi in the
messed up.
chat, okay, so work on outer beauty and inner beauty both, right? Absolutely.
Of course,
It's something to like people say, "Oh, you're shallow." No. No, that's not it. Like if
it's called
I
having standards, people.
right.
And no, I will say
And,
this right
like
now.
I wouldn't
Having
call
a
a like how I wouldn't call a child's Play-Doh art, but I would call a clay sculpture that's been crafted and refined into a small statue art. You know, there's a level of it takes effort and sophistication for something to be beautiful, and skill. Because effort doesn't necessarily equate to skill. If you ever read Atlas Shrugged, there's actually a great dissertation of Marx in there about how, according to Marx, effort is what you should get paid for when an unskilled person could toil away at a skilled craft and make the situation worse. And they've exerted effort, but they have done nothing to refine the product. And then Alucard in the chat, I'd say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, that there is subjective beauty. Like green, like a painting that uses a lot of green could be just as beautiful as a painting that uses a lot of red. I think there are certain colors that actually like go really well together. Other people aren't into those colors. I think white and gold is beautiful. I think that if you use white and gold in like architecture or design for anything really, it's just gonna look nice and elegant. Omen thinks it's Omen doesn't like that though. He's more fond of black and red, which I think black and red can work, but but it has to be done right.
I mean, I'm wearing black and maroon right now.
Oh,
Actually.
that's Starship Troopers. Okay, my bad. Evidently, my quote from Atlas Shrugged came from Starship Troopers.
I get Atlas Shrugged mixed up with Starship Troopers.
I don't know. It just seems too highbrow to be from Starship Troopers. You gotta remember, I have Starship Troopers book in my library, I just haven't gotten around to reading it. I know Starship Troopers by its movie, which I am well aware is ultimately inferior to the book.
I mean, that's true of most film adaptations. There's very few film adaptations of books that are better than their book counterparts.
Right, but at least with most book-to-movie adaptations, the people at least respect the source material. The guy who adapted Starship Troopers from a book into a movie, if I remember correctly, had either never read the book or absolutely hated the book.
Well, that's weird. Why'd you do an adaptation?
Fuck if I know. Probably for the money.
Actually, do you know that Taika Waititi actually did Thor Ragnarok to pay off some college loans?
No. What happened there?
Yeah, basically he graduated from college, he had a bunch of debt he was struggling to pay off, and some of his movies weren't doing well, so he figured, hey, Marvel movies are doing pretty good. If I make a Marvel movie and it does well, then I can use the money I make from that movie to pay off my loans. And, Thor Ragnarok was a critical commercial success. It made millions at the box office. Taita got his pay, and as a result, he was able to pay off his student loans.
Oh, that's super cool. Chibi in the chat says, there's nothing wrong with having high standards, Seth. I get it. A person needs to be both physically fit and healthy physically, financially, and have good mental health, too, or something, IDK. Well, honestly, I actually don't care about the person I'm dating's finances. That's something I need to worry about. I need to be financially sound before I'm in a relationship.
That's kind of what I've been working on. That's why I've been saving up so much money for the past year and a half. I did take a bit of a hiatus to pay off some bad debt, but that's mainly what I've been doing. My original goal was just to pay off my student loans, but I think at this point, because of the schedule I'm on, I'm not at risk of like being hurt badly. I would like to get rid of it ideally, but it's at a point where I can just like live with it. It's not going to crush me financially.
Right. Yeah. No. If you're really that curious about what I look for in a partner, Chibi, there's two things. Three things. Well, obviously, the person I'm dating preferably has like clean mental health, just because we don't need to add fuel to the fire. We have to have, but that's usually tertiary, because it's like most people do not have mental illness. And thank God for that. But like physical attraction, and if we have the same interests. If we don't have the same interests, oh fuck, that ain't working out.
You would dump a girl for not having shared interests?
Well, if we had zero interests in common, what the fuck are we gonna talk about?
I mean, that could be. I can see why that might be a concern, but then again, just because you don't have the same interest right away doesn't mean you can't develop it over time. Maybe you could introduce her to some of the stuff you're into, maybe you could learn what she's into, and maybe you could develop those interests in the course of your relationship. That can happen. I would argue that far bigger.
I mean, now that you say it, you're probably right. I'm just used to... Okay. For the love of God, Internet, please don't take this one out of context.
Oh boy, here we go. Go ahead.
Most of the frame of reference, the only frame of reference I have for a long-term relationship with a woman is my mom. No, not like that. What I'm saying here is, my mom does not have the same interests as me. Her eyes glaze over at the mention of Doctor Who lore or video games. We found a few things in common. We both love cooking, and we both love music. So when if we want to like chat or like, you know, bond over something, you know, finally, it took us fucking years to figure that out. Because for the longest time, I had an autistic laser focus on my interests of video games, computers, and you know, pop culture shit. I didn't have an appreciation for cooking or for music until I didn't appreciate cooking until I was in my 20s, and I didn't appreciate music until I was in my mid-teens. And even now, my mom and my music tastes are very different.
You know, I find it funny how you say you were a computer guy as like a kid, and artistic focus on computers, considering you didn't even know what a Windows operating system was.
Not like computers, video games.
Didn't you say you had autistic fascination with computers when you were younger?
I mean, I developed an autistic fascination with computers when I was in my teens, because I realized, holy shit, these computers can do so much.
Oh, your teens, that's what it was. Because
Yeah.
you said something about Doctor Who and some other thing, and I lost track of it there.
Yeah, but yeah, no. And so I'm just used to I'm the only frame of reference I have of yeah, like I said. So my biggest fear is, oh God, if I've met a girl who doesn't have the same interests as me, what the fuck are we gonna bond over? What are we gonna do together? What are we gonna talk about? And it's like, if we can't get into if we can't find something that we share in common for interests, the relationship's just not gonna work.
I wouldn't. Here's the thing, though. I have to push back on that just a little bit. I'm not saying like having no interest in common is a bad thing. I actually think it's not an issue at all. I think a bigger issue from that perspective would be if she refuses to either share her interest with you, or at least see what you're into and learn about it. If she's like resistant to that completely, and doesn't want anything to do with it, I can see that being more of a deal breaker, just not having interest. Because I would argue that a much bigger concern, a much more justifiable case for breakup, would be a difference in values. Like, if you have a fundamental difference in like your core beliefs and what you believe to be true, that's gonna do far more damage to your relationship than whether or not she likes playing like the same kind of games that you do, for example.
Well, you're absolutely right there, but and if you guys value different things socially, yeah, that could be a problem. But I honestly think if you have different social values, but you have shared interests, then that can still work. I don't know, maybe it's different for you, but the way I get to know people, the way I like become friends with people, and the way we connect, is like mutual interests. Like, part of the reason me and my friend Jay are such good friends is because we were both like Sonic the Hedgehog nerds in middle school, and we watched those stupid Flash animations and would quote them just back to back at lunchtime. Part of the reason that me and Dad get along so well is because we both have like, we are basically carbon copies when it comes to interests. Dad loves Doctor Who, and Star Wars. He loves video games. I love those things. We're both I wouldn't call us music nerds, but we both have an appreciation for heavy metal. Part of the reason that me and Omen get along. Okay, that one's different. That's complicated because me and Omen basically bonded over a mutual hatred of a third party. Nothing brings two brothers together like mutual hatred for a third person.
Kind of sounds like America, like Democrats and Republicans when like a foreign country invades us.
Yeah, pretty much. At least that's how Hollywood portrays it. You fucking know that some people from both parties would want to use the chaos as an opportunity to like solidify their hold over power in the country. But let's not get into that.
Yeah, that gets into like factions and shit. We don't have time for that.
Yeah.
It's not that
Chibi in the
like,
chat says I'm not WW. I have no idea what that's in reference to. But yeah. Oh my god, we've been going at this for almost 2.5 hours now.
Nice, dude. I think this is our August TVC in a while.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since TVC has run this long.
Oh, now I can see the chat. Okay, I was in YouTube. I switched over to Twitch. Now I can see the chat.
Oh, okay. I really wish there was a way to streamline so that the chat from all of the different sites we're live on could could be done in one place.
Actually, with DealWire Friends, Donnie Dozer hosts a show. He actually has the YouTube and Rumble chat showing up at the exact same time. He has to be able to get the X chat to work. He's working on that, but yeah, he's able to get YouTube and Rumble chat to show up at the same time in his setup. But his is a lot more complicated than ours. He has a lot of stuff going on there. We're just streaming off a Discord call over Streamlabs. He's got like so much more stuff involved in there. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I bet. Man, could you imagine if we had the resources that the Daily Wire had? We could hire an editor. We could hire a tech guy.
We wouldn't have to hire him, bro. If we work for the Daily Wire, we would just have the stuff provided to us, most likely, and then...
Yeah, but there'd be contract shit to deal with.
Oh yeah, of course, but at least we'll be able to focus on just making the
Oh my god, I just had a hilarious idea. Imagine if we had the, imagine if we had Omen on stream if we were working for the Daily Wire.
Ooh, that's gonna be a feel. That'd be like when Kanye West showed up at the premiere for one of the Kansas movies. That was wild.
It'd be a fucking field day.
Oh man, and then you see tweets from Jeremy and Ben about how this guy is such a trash drummer. So especially Ben. Imagine Ben's first reaction to Omen's like rants.
Oh my god, honestly, that'd be really fucking funny.
Dude, that'd be amazing. I would watch
if we could get Ben to react to Omen's rants, I would just send Ben the meme of him in the super suit. You know the one. Did somebody mention anti-Semitism?
You know
Oh
what's really
man.
freaking funny though? There was a whole bit where Candace and Ben were like at each other's throats over the Israel Palestine thing, and this was right before she left for maternity leave. She just caused a bunch of bullshit on the way out the door, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. She probably figured, I'm going out, might as well. Might as well stir the
Yeah.
pot, because I don't have to deal with the fallout.
Yeah, I mean, again, she's gonna be gone for a couple weeks. I think by the time she gets back, because she knows that by the time she gets back, it's probably gonna blow over. So it's like we'll just, business as usual, basically.
Yeah, honestly, if we worked for the Daily Wire, I think what would happen is Ben would probably have respect for you and like begrudging respect for me because I have begrudging respect for him. I think he's wrong on on a number of things, and that he kind of has a blind spot about Israel. But ultimately, I think he means well, and I can respect that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but
I think between
Omen
the
would
two of
just
us,
stir the fucking pot. Oh,
oh, absolutely. He's the kind of person where if he found out we were working there, he would just like say a bunch of crap just to get Ben riled up. And knowing Ben, he might fall for it if we were hosts. And
and
then,
me being me, I would just let it happen because I find that sort of thing funny.
yeah. I'd be like Brett. I would just, if anything happened, I would just kind of stay out of it. I think you probably would as well, because you know me, I'm not a drama guy. I don't like causing shit on Twitter. Now,
Yeah.
people bring shit to me. That's a different story. I'm obviously if someone charges me, I'm gonna defend myself. That's a different story. But I'm never gonna go out of my way to cause drama. That's not who I am.
Yeah, and I'm the sort of person where I'm like, I don't care if there's drama or not. You guys got to learn to sort that shit out for yourselves. I ain't playing mediator, and that
Mm-hmm.
almost tanked our Dragon Quest streams on like the 4th episode because of a comment from Omen to Rini.
What really? What happened? I don't remember that.
I won't go into it because it's ancient history.
Fair enough.
Needless to say, Omen said something that was kind of insensitive. Rini was hurt that I didn't defend her, and I had to basically smooth things over between the two of them and basically tell Omen, hey, dude, not again, not cool.
All right. Yeah. At least oh yeah, I did remember you having to sort something out between the two of them, and yeah, I'm glad we were able to do that.
Yeah, I honestly, dude, I miss doing Dragon Quest Night with the 4 of us.
It was a blast. Those are good days, especially when like we were streaming like every day, Monday to Thursday. Man, that was a blast.
Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe when Tofu gets things sorted out, we can start doing it again.
Hopefully.
Oh, man. Okay, why don't we end it here, and I will give it, like, maybe 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna do Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
All right, you want to rate somebody?
No, I will we'll raid someone at the end of the Black Flag stream, just because it'd be kind of
Okay.
weird to raid and then go live, like, 10 minutes later. That's just kind of, that's kind of a social faux pas in the streaming world.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's a bad idea. Okay, in that case, we'll just end it here. Then we've been streaming for a good long while. We've had a lot of fun, but I think it'd be good to just wrap things up and in a positive note, and then we can go forward for the next day.
Alright, Merry Christmas to all, and to all good night. I'll see y'all in, like, 10 minutes.
Okie dokie. Goodbye, everyone.